Chapter 61. Huo Yuhao's legs are both broken. Xuanzi's infuriating expression stunned Wang Yan for a moment. Severed. How could he say it so calmly? The words struck Wang Yan like a blow. Severed. How? How could they be severed? Where are his legs, Elder Xuan? Why didn't you bring Yuhao's legs back? Wang Yan's questions came out sharp and accusing. He couldn't understand it. Xuanzi was a rank 98 titled Douluo. How could he not have seen the danger sooner? Why hadn't he acted in time? Anger burned through him. If it hadn't been for Huo Yuhao, they might all have been wiped out. And now their greatest hero had lost his legs, and the legs weren't even with them. Was this how a hero was treated? Hearing Wang Yan's words, Xuanzi felt deeply offended. How could this all be pinned on him? Yes, he had made a mistake, but what about the rest of them? The enemy had been only a spirit king. Could they not handle a single spirit king? Were Ma Xiaotao and Dai Yueheng incapable of dealing with one opponent? Inwardly, Xuanzi seethed. He thought they were all useless. He wanted to shout it out, but he dared not. If Elder Mu found out, he'd be torn to pieces, so he kept the words in his head. In his own mind, he hadn't done anything that bad. This was a trial. Casualties were to be expected. Why blame him? I'm not saying I didn't screw up, he thought, but aren't you all partly to blame? If you'd been more capable, would it have come to this? Out loud, trying to control himself, Xuanzi said as calmly as he could, I was too hasty just now. I didn't notice. Didn't notice? Wang Yan's eyes widened in disbelief. Was this how a powerhouse spoke? He really couldn't accept it. Wang Dong and the others, who were still tending to Ma Xiaotao, made the same stunned faces, though in their hearts they were making excuses for Xuanzi. They could maybe accept that he'd been too anxious. Under those circumstances, a hasty move could be forgivable. Wang Yan took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. Elder Xuan, tell me exactly what happened just now. He had to know. He would have to explain this battle when they returned. But with Huo Yuhao like this, how could he face that? Xuanzi gave his account. He kept it vague and minimized his responsibility. The enemy had thrown Huo Yuhao out, Xuanzi had intervened, Huo Yuhao had resisted a little, and then Xuanzi had thrown him out. An accident followed. It was an accident, he insisted. He kept repeating it. Wang Yan ground his teeth. Could a titled Douluo not control his power? No matter how much Yuhao struggled, shouldn't Xuanzi have had control? Xuanzi kept insisting he hadn't been able to control it. Elder Xuan, let's get him treated first. Find Yuhao's legs, see if they can be reattached, Wang Yan said, fighting to keep his voice steady. They all remembered Chen Zifeng, who'd lost both legs and died because they hadn't been able to treat him in time after blood poisoning. 2 from the inner academy had already died. Others had varying degrees of injury. The best off were the 6 from the preparatory team and 3 from the inner academy. Because of Xuanzi, the preparatory team had at least been spared total disaster. Only Huo Yuhao was critically injured. Still, that did little to soothe Wang Yan. Please, Elder Xuan, bring Yuhao's legs back, he urged. If they can be reattached, that's the only hope. Xuanzi hesitated, looking as if he'd lost his composure. Finally, he nodded. All right. He set Huo Yuhao down and turned to leave. Sanchi, come help me, Wang Yan called to Shu Sanchi. The 2 of them laid Huo Yuhao flat and Wang Yan checked him again, putting a pill into his mouth. His hands felt cold. How could this be? He muttered. Teacher Wang, what's wrong? Shu Sanchi asked, worried. Wang Yan shook his head. Nothing. Go check on the others. When Elder Xuan returns, we'll take them for treatment. He sent Shu Sanchi off and then looked over Huo Yuhao once more. It hit him like a betrayal. His world seemed to collapse. The earlier result was real. Huo Yuhao had been severed. 1 right leg and 1 lower left leg had been sliced almost cleanly when that rock had cut him. Wang Yan felt sick to his core. Xuanzi came back empty-handed, his face blank. Wang Yan stared. Elder Xuan, where are Yuhao's legs? They're gone. Xuanzi's voice was expressionless. He hadn't found them. At the sight, there were no severed limbs, only a messy pool of flesh. For Wang Yan, that was worse than death. Elder Xuan, Wang Yan stepped close and whispered something in Xuanzi's ear. Xuanzi's eyes widened. He shoved Wang Yan aside and checked for himself. When he saw, Xuanzi too was stunned. We'll take him back for treatment first, Wang Yan said, forcing himself to act. Xuanzi suddenly turned and fixed Wang Yan with a fierce stare. Wang Yan, listen to me. For the Soul Master competition, you must do everything you can. Shrek's glory cannot be lost. Do you understand? Shrek's glory cannot be lost. His tone left no room for argument. Whatever the cost, Shrek Academy's standing must be preserved. Wang Yan felt a headache like a drum in his skull. How could they possibly fight? Ma Xiaotao and Dai Yueheng's recoveries were uncertain. The preparatory team was incomplete. How could they be expected to compete? But Xuanzi didn't care. He had to return and accept punishment. There was no time for second-guessing now. He gathered the injured and flew straight back to Shrek Academy. Wang Yan looked over their battered group and felt hollow. "Let's take Xiaotao and Yueheng back to Star Luo City first," he said quietly. "We'll deal with this step by step." Beibei and the others, subdued, helped carry Ma Xiaotao and the others back to Star Luo City. Ma Xiaotao and the rest weren't critically hurt. They could still fight later, and for now, that was all they could rely on. Xuanzi, meanwhile, flew back to Shrek, irritated and furious. How could something like this have happened? Still, he knew he had to take responsibility. He hadn't meant for this to occur. He'd only eaten a chicken leg, he told himself, absurdly trying to diminish the event. And yet here they were. He felt wronged, but in front of Muen he wouldn't dare protest. With Wang Yan and the others he could be arrogant and brazen. Before Muen he was meek and submissive. That was Xuanzi, proud and domineering when he could get away with it, fearful and obedient when the stakes were real. Chapter 62. Shrek doesn't treat students like humans. As soon as Xuanzi returned to Shrek, he had Zhuang Yusen give the injured students immediate treatment. The Sea God Pavilion meeting was convened again right away. Yan Xiaojie leaned forward. "Elder Xuan, don't blame yourself too harshly. This isn't entirely your fault." Xuanzi waved him off, then, seeing Elder Mu, immediately dropped to his knees. Muen drew a deep breath and tried to steady himself, forcing his anger down. "Get up, Xuanzi. Tell me exactly what happened. Why did Yu Hao end up like this?" Muen's voice cracked between calm and fury. The more he thought about it, the angrier he grew. Ho Yu Hao had just been selected for the ultimate solo project. Now this. Yan Xiaojie and the other elders rushed to Xuanzi's defense. "Elder Mu, please punish me instead. I'll accept any punishment." Xuanzi kept his head bowed, refusing to rise. "I asked you to recount the events. What exactly happened?" Elder Mu's voice sharpened. He rarely lost his temper. The other elders looked at Xuanzi with pity. Then Xuanzi told them the story in broad strokes. As Muen listened, his scalp went cold. A spirit king had almost wiped them out. "Elder Mu, you can't put all the blame on Elder Xuan," Yan Xiaojie urged. "That spirit king was too cunning. Elder Xuan did kill that evil soul master. He at least made up for part of it." The elders chimed in one after another. Muen sighed and waved his hand. "Get up, Xuanzi. This isn't all your fault." Xuanzi's heart fluttered. "Elder Mu, punish me. Do whatever you think is right. I'll accept it." "Get up," Muen barked, then immediately coughed. The elders glanced over in concern. Xuanzi sprang to his feet. He was afraid of no one but Elder Mu. "Xuanzi, how many times is this? Can't you change your ways?" Muen looked disappointed, but knew he couldn't be too harsh. Xuanzi was a rank 98 titled Douluo, one of Shrek's pillars beneath him. Muen could not bring himself to punish someone of that value for the sake of a few students. Even if Xuanzi's negligence had cost lives, two, perhaps, that was a price Muen found difficult to pay compared to losing a rank 98. "Elder Mu, I know I was wrong," Xuanzi said plaintively. He always admitted guilt only when forced. Deep down, he didn't truly believe he was wrong. To him, the student's carelessness was to blame. Muen sighed. "Xuanzi, with you like this, how am I supposed to entrust Shrek to you when I'm gone? Go reflect. No special food or wine. No chicken legs. No wine. Xiaojie, keep a close eye on him for me. If I find out otherwise, I'll come looking for you." He paused, then added, "About the Soul Master competition, this time let them taste some failure. There's no need to risk their lives for Shrek's glory. We've been glorious for too long. Maybe a setback will teach them that Shrek isn't invincible. Let them learn and grow from it." Muen waved his hand, forced himself up, and left the Sea God Pavilion. As soon as he left, several elders moved forward to comfort Xuanzi. Muen went straight to where the students were being treated. Zhuang Yusen was still tending them. "Yusen, how are they?" he asked. Zhuang Yusen bowed upon seeing him. Their lives are saved, but as for Yu Hao, he hesitated. Say it, Muen urged. Zhuang Yusin chose to send his words as a voice transmission. Yu Hao may have lost his reproductive organs. That area was severed. If they can find the leg, it might be reattached, but for now, he'll need a prosthetic. Muen felt sick. Xuanzi, what was he to say? How could he explain this to Yu Hao? Muen's face darkened. On one side stood Xuanzi, on the other a student who had saved many lives and who was a contender for the ultimate solo project. Fit him with a prosthetic leg, Muen ordered. As for the other part, I'll speak to Yu Hao myself when he wakes. He blamed himself as well. If he had never vouched for Xuanzi, would things have been different? Why had he accepted Xuanzi in the first place? This was Shrek, unchanged from a long time ago. Students still had no real rights. If a student benefited Shrek, they were treated slightly better. Otherwise, nobody cared. Muen's bias for a powerful titled Douluo over ordinary students gnawed at him. Meanwhile, in Star Luo City, Wang Yan and the remaining members of Shrek arrived and checked into the hotel where the competition would be held. Lin Xiao was already staying at that hotel, sitting in the lobby with Xiao Linger. He watched Wang Yan's group as they checked in and began to pick them out. Bei, Shu Sanxi, Jiang Nanan, that androgynous one should be Wang Dong, Lin Xiao muttered. The smallest must be Xiao Xiao, he Kaito. He frowned. What a pathetic bunch. He searched, but Huo Yuhao wasn't among them. That didn't sit right. Could Huo Yuhao have been killed by that spirit king? What are you staring at, Xiao Xiaozi? Xiao Linger followed his gaze. These are the people I told you about. Lin Xiao said softly. Which of them is Wang Dong, and which is Yu Hao? Should we take them out now? Xiao Linger leaned in and spoke seriously and quietly into his ear. Lin Xiao drew back. Now is not the time. We can't move against them yet. Better to keep our distance for now, Xiao Linger agreed. God King Xiaoling was still watching from above. One mistake, and there would be no turning back. Chapter 63. Auspicious Beasts. Wang Dong has so many fathers. Xiao Linger's gaze settled on Wang Dong. She couldn't shake a bad feeling about him. Even the sight of his back made her uneasy. Xiao Xiaozi, I have a bad feeling, she said. That man, I really don't like the look of him. Xiao Linger sat down beside Lin Xiao without thinking and pointed at the pretty boy standing next to Xiao Xiao. Lin Xiao glanced over. Wasn't that Wang Dong? Could this be some kind of chain reaction? Now that Xiao Linger was tailing him, Xiao Ling's plan to transfer Tang Wutong's soul into an auspicious beast body through Huo Yuhao might be ruined. Linger, what kind of feeling? Lin Xiao asked. That person is Wang Dong, Xiao Linger said. He makes me feel like he wants to hurt me. No wonder you told me to stay away from them. He's definitely not a good person. Then which one is Huo Yuhao? A flash of killing intent lit Xiao Linger's eyes. She really wanted to kill that Wang Dong right then. I don't see Huo Yuhao. Something must have happened. Lin Xiao's thoughts raced. Without Electrolux and without the Ice Empress, with only that sometimes unreliable Skydream ice worm around, something could indeed have happened to Huo Yuhao. Maybe the guy was already dead. But that was only a guess. Lin Xiao wasn't on the scene, so he didn't know what had actually happened. It might actually be better if he's dead, Xiao Linger muttered. Just one Wang Dong makes me uncomfortable. They must be two people who are bad news for spirit beasts. Xiao Xiaozi, why won't you let me kill them? She demanded. With my level 66 strength, taking out that Wang Dong would be easy. Huo Yuhao must be weak too. Xiao Linger was itching to pull out her golden dragon spear and stab Wang Dong. Lin Xiao listened, stunned. This girl really was fierce, ready to fight at the slightest provocation. It's not that I won't let you, he said. It's just not the time. They're from Shrek. You know Shrek, right? They have gods backing them. Besides, that Wang Dong has two gods standing behind him. If you make a move, the other side will be able to act freely. It wouldn't just be you suffering. There would be disaster for the Stardo Great Forest. Lin Xiao explained calmly. If he didn't, this fiery girl might charge in for real. Hearing the word God, Xiao Linger's anger cooled a bit. She was fierce, but not foolish. Lin Xiao, she asked suddenly, based on what you're saying, is there a god plotting against me? Lin Xiao thought, when did she get so sharp? He had only said a little, yet the auspicious beast had pieced it together. He nodded slightly. Pretty much. But don't worry, you have me. Xiaolinger nodded. Since Lin Xiao knew, she'd follow his lead. Then when can we kill those two? She asked bluntly. Lin Xiao paused. He thought for a moment and said, Not now. I can't say exactly when. But when the time comes, I'll definitely let you do it yourself, okay? Xiaolinger nodded with satisfaction. Okay, when the time comes, I want to stab that Wang Dong through with one spear. As she spoke, she balled her fist. Suddenly, Yao Lao's voice rang in Lin Xiao's mind. Xiao Xiaozi, I sense two powerful auras, stronger even than Doupo. Master, will Linger be discovered? Lin Xiao asked. Tense. Keep Linger within 5 meters of you, Yao Lao warned. If she strays farther, I can't guarantee anything. Understood, Master, Lin Xiao replied quickly. He turned to Xiao Linger with a serious look. Linger, 2 powerful people are coming. Stick to me and don't stray more than 5 meters. Xiao Linger frowned, then nodded. Moments later, 2 figures entered the hotel. Even though they tried to conceal their auras, terrifying power radiated from them. Their temperament could not be hidden. When Xiao Linger saw the 2, she immediately grabbed Lin Xiao's arm. Lin Xiao looked at her in surprise. Did she know these 2? Her expression was terrible. He stepped in front of her protectively. After the 2 men went upstairs, Xiao Linger spoke softly. Those 2 are the spirit beasts DTN warned me about, the ones who guarded the gates back then. Lin Xiao, she continued, you said Wang Dong has 2 gods behind him. Could it be them? Her words made Lin Xiao's heart drop. Why were those 2 gatekeepers here? This was unexpected. He had never imagined Sky Azure Bull Python and Titan Giant Ape would appear. They hadn't been in the original story. Had his arrival changed the timeline? Had those 2 gatekeepers come ahead of schedule? Lin Xiao's mind raced, but he hadn't planned to act anyway. He wasn't entering the competition. He was staying behind the scenes. Linger, those 2 are Wang Dong's first father and second father, Lin Xiao said. They're considered gods. Their strength is suppressed right now, but we mustn't underestimate them. But they're not his biological father. His biological father is the greatest hidden threat, he added. It was better to be fully informed than half aware. Xiao Linger mulled it over. That Wang Dong, why does he have so many fathers? I know humans can have multiple wives and concubines, but I've never heard of having multiple fathers. Wang Dong's mother certainly has a talent for finding fathers, Xiao Linger muttered. Lin Xiao couldn't help but smile at her blunt logic. Indeed, Wang Dong didn't seem to have much else, but he sure had an abundance of fathers. Ha-ha! When you put it that way, you're right. Now is not the time to act. If those 2 gatekeepers explode, we will suffer heavy losses, Lin Xiao said firmly. So we wait. He didn't want to wait either, but his strength wasn't enough. The divine realm was still under that bastard's control. If they went all out now, he could be killed. Since he couldn't match power for power, he had to lie low. Now that Xiao Linger knew how many threats were lining up, he was glad he hadn't acted rashly earlier. Even a one-hit kill could bring unbearable consequences. Xiao Linger understood the gravity as well. Those 2 gatekeeping spirit beasts had betrayed the spirit beast clan and become minions of Wang Dong's biological father. They were facing a god. She carried the hopes of the spirit beast clan and had to be cautious. Fortunately, neither of the 2 gatekeepers had noticed them, otherwise they would be in immediate danger. Xiao Linger knew she owed that to Lin Xiao. If not for him, she might have been exposed. Chapter 64. Laughing at the Mortal World and Dreaming of the Mortal World. Lin Xiao and Xiao Linger's hotel room was on the top floor, and with Yao Lao cloaking their presence, Lin Xiao no longer worried about anyone discovering their trail. To be honest, Lin Xiao hadn't expected those 2 to turn up at the Soul Master competition. His own appearance had already changed a lot of things, and he needed to act quickly. Lin Xiao, if Wang Dong has so many supporters, what about Huo Yuhao? Xiao Linger asked. What's so special about him? Lin Xiao replied. Could it be that he has a lot of mothers? Xiao Linger tilted her head. Since Wang Dong was so extraordinary, Huo Yuhao had to be special too, right? She felt pressured. She had no idea how many gods might stand behind him. Huo Yuhao, special? Lin Xiao considered. For a moment, he couldn't think of anything exceptional. His talent wasn't that impressive. He just had a lot of lucky breaks. Well, having many cheats counted as a kind of specialty. Looking at the whole Douluo world, even Xiaolinger didn't have as many advantages as Huo Yuhao. If she hadn't become a god first, Huo Yuhao might have risen to godhood faster than her. I get the fortune thing. He has opportunities. I just don't know what they are. He has many ancestors. Could his ancestors be gods? Xiaolinger whispered. No wonder Lin Xiao had told her to stay away from those two. Neither seemed harmless. As a spirit beast, she had no way to withstand their plots. His opportunity is the energy source Ditian, and the others were absorbing. The Skydream Iceworm, Lin Xiao answered. Now the Skydream Iceworm has become his spirit ring and even helped him gain a second spirit. I just don't know what that second spirit is. As for his ancestors, yes, they are gods. Huo Yuhao was Dai Hao's son, and the Dai family, including Dai Mubai, qualified as his ancestors. They were gods, so that fit, but Dai Hao didn't even know he had such a son. The thought gave Lin Xiao an idea. Since things were already chaotic, why not stir the pot a little more? Exposing Huo Yuhao's identity could be entertaining. Right now, Huo Yuhao's life hung in the balance. He might be dead or badly injured, and it was unclear whether he could remain a candidate for the ultimate solo project. If he couldn't, Dai Huabin would be delighted to get rid of him. What would Dai Yueheng do then? Lin Xiao decided he might try pushing that line in a few days. Gods again. There really are a lot of people scheming against me, Xiaolinger muttered. And that worm, of all people, it chose Huo Yuhao. Heh. Since it's made its choice, don't blame me later, she added coldly. She had had little idea how dangerous the outside world was. A rare outing, and she already ran into so many plotting against her. She didn't know whether to feel lucky or unlucky. Don't overthink it, Linger. They haven't made a move yet. We just need to cultivate. Strength is the only foundation, Lin Xiao soothed. Xiaolinger had learned so much in one day. It was natural she felt overwhelmed. She nodded. Worrying wouldn't help. She was still too weak. Once she became a titled Douluo, she'd make those two gatekeeping spirit beasts regret their betrayal. They were traitors to the spirit beast clan. Even after becoming gods, they had forgotten the spirit beasts. The more she thought about it, the angrier she became. Meanwhile, Deming and Erming had checked into a room relatively close to Wang Dong's. Big brother, when are we going to see Wu Tong? Erming asked anxiously. He'd come all this way and hadn't met Tang Wu Tong yet. Don't forget Xiaolinger's business, Deming reminded him with a look. Erming snorted. There are geniuses everywhere here. Which one do you think she wants? It wasn't that he wasn't searching. He had checked already. There were many geniuses, several even in this hotel. Who could say which one it was? Deming sighed. Yeah, they're all geniuses. We'll take it one step at a time. Without that opportunity, Xiaolinger wouldn't refuse to let Wu Tong return to the divine realm, right? Erming said firmly. True. Then when the time comes, we'll tell Xiaolinger about a few powerful ones, Daming replied, but his voice trailed off. There were too many human geniuses, and Xiaolinger had given no clear hint. It was like looking for a needle in a haystack. Even if the opportunity still existed, what could they do? On the way here, they had already thought that through. The two of them didn't realize their tracks had already been exposed. Wang Dong simply hadn't noticed yet. After Xiaolinger learned all this, she wasn't sad. She was fired up. To be envied is to be extraordinary, Xiao Xiaozi. Look, so many people are thinking about me, she said, patting Lin Xiao's shoulder. She contrasted herself with him. So many people were thinking about her, while no one seemed to notice him at all. Lin Xiao smiled. Her thought process wasn't ordinary. She was a spirit beast, after all. They stood up, laughing and chatting, and nearly bumped into a pair of siblings coming the other way. Sorry, you two, Lin Xiao apologized. He'd assumed the corner was empty and moved a little too hastily. The man waved it off. No problem. Brother, are you all right? Lin Xiao smiled. I'm fine, thanks. My name is Xiao Hongqin, and this is my sister, Meng Hongqin, the man said. We've been sitting here since morning and got curious. We wanted to come over and get to know you. Which academy are you from? His gaze had drifted to Xiaolinger. His interest was plain. Lin Xiao, hearing the name, was a bit surprised. Xiao Hongqin and Meng Hongqin. When he noticed the man's intense look at Xiaolinger, he understood. She was already stunning, even sitting there quietly, radiating an almost terrifying charm. They hadn't merely bumped into them. They had come over deliberately. Xiao Linger bristled under Xiao Hongchen's stare. She wanted nothing more than to draw her golden dragon spear and stab the fellow for daring to look at her like that. Lin Xiao, however, gripped her hand to calm her. Lin Xiao, he said coolly, you can consider me as being from the Heavenly Soul Empire. He had already taken Xiao Linger's hand. Xiao Hongchen went silent, dumbfounded by the unexpected display. Chapter 65. Spreading the Message. Shrek is enraged. Xiao Hongchen's heart fluttered like falling snow. He had been a little smitten from the moment he first saw Xiao Linger. I finally managed to get my sister to come along, and you made me lose her so completely. Meng Hongchen covered her mouth and let out a little laugh, teasing her older brother. Miss, my name is Meng Hongchen, and this is my foolish older brother. Meng Hongchen introduced herself and indicated Xiao Hongchen. Xiao Linger took her hand. Xiao Linger, are we friends now? Meng Hongchen asked with a smile. Xiao Linger nodded, then hesitated. Yes, but not entirely. Lin Xiao watched the two of them without interrupting. It was better to let two women talk. Xiao Hongchen turned to Lin Xiao. Hey, Lin Xiao, does your partner have an older sister or something? Lin Xiao's mouth twitched. Seriously? Way too forward. She does, but you wouldn't be able to handle her. You're too weak, he said with a laugh. Though Xiao Hongchen had reached Spirit King level and wasn't weak, he was no match for the likes of BG. Still, Xiao Hongchen bristled. So what? Won't this Soul Master competition prove everything? He retorted confidently. Xiao Hongchen was sure the Sun Moon Empire would take the crown in the Soul Master competition. He had every reason to be arrogant, a member of the Hongchen family with resources close at hand and talent both in combat and with spirit tools. He was only a couple of years older than the Shrek preparatory team and knew he'd trained hard. In the original timeline, he'd been trounced, but with Huo Yuhao gone, maybe things would play out differently. Wang Dong was still around, and those two licking beasts had appeared. Perhaps the balance had shifted. That didn't stop Lin Xiao from prodding. Can you even beat Shrek? Lin Xiao asked pointedly. Shrek? Heh, they'll be beaten by us this time. Xiao Hongchen snorted. Good, I believe you, Lin Xiao said, nodding. Xiao Hongchen froze. Huh? You just believe me like that? Lin Xiao smiled faintly. Xiao Hongchen of the Hongchen family, from the Sun Moon Empire. Of course I believe you. You know us? Xiao Hongchen asked, surprised. His comment drew the attention of Meng Hongchen and Xiao Linger. Let's talk somewhere else. I've got some intelligence to share, Lin Xiao offered. Do you dare? Lin Xiao asked. Xiao Hongchen and Meng Hongchen exchanged looks and nodded. Why wouldn't we? They left the hotel and went to a luxurious restaurant. Outside, Lin Xiao stretched and snapped his fingers with a hint of excitement. Xiao Hongchen, you're really generous. Xiao Linger glanced over but said nothing. Ha ha ha, I just have plenty of money, Xiao Hongchen replied. The four of them ordered and ate. Xiao Linger dug in as if she hadn't eaten in ages, paying little attention to Lin Xiao and Xiao Hongchen's conversation. Meng Hongchen followed her lead, piling her plate high. You're not participating in this Soul Master competition? Xiao Hongchen asked softly over a sip of wine. Lin Xiao shook his head. No, Linger and I aren't participating. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sharing this intelligence. Xiao Hongchen's eyes brightened. If Lin Xiao were a competitor, he wouldn't be giving away secrets. What intelligence? He asked, leaning in. You aren't afraid I'm lying? Lin Xiao said casually. Xiao Hongchen waved a hand. I'm not. With such a beautiful girl by your side and the way you carry yourself, you don't look like a liar. I, Xiao Hongchen, am confident, he added proudly. Lin Xiao's mouth twitched. The guy was painfully full of himself. Lin Xiao didn't care. He wanted the news about Shrek's spread, and Xiao Hongchen was the perfect conduit, proud, talkative, and sure to brag. Meng Hongchen would likely be eager to pass information along too. Lin Xiao wasn't worried about them exposing him. He had prepared backups. What he'd done at the hotel entrance was part of that plan, abrupt but effective. The intelligence I have is that the Shrek Inner Academy disciples suffered heavy losses on a recent mission, Lin Xiao said plainly. Ma Xiaotao, Dai Yueheng, and Ling Luoqin are mostly fine, but they're injured and will need about 10 days to recover. The rest are from the preparatory team. You can handle those. However, if someone named Huo Yuhao appears, be careful. His situation is special. He has a detection spirit ability and a simulation spirit ability. Lin Xiao delivered it all in one breath. Xiao Hongqian listened, stunned, but the report sounded credible. He raised his wine glass solemnly. I believe you. Lin Xiao clinked glasses and took a light sip. Their meaning was understood without more words. After a few drinks, Xiao Hongqian grew talkative. Lin Xiao, you're not weak either. Why aren't you competing? I'm not interested. Watching you all perform is enough, Lin Xiao answered plainly. The competition wasn't his goal. Observation sufficed. By the time they finished at the restaurant, Lin Xiao's message had begun to spread. Outside, the Shrek group had gathered in the hotel, grim-faced and furious. Can anyone tell me why our business has been exposed? Wang Yan demanded, his fury boiling over. The restraint that Xuanzi had kept on him had broken. He'd reached his limit. Ma Xiaotao and Dai Yueheng wore similar expressions. They'd been planning to take advantage of the intelligence gap and play for time while Ma Xiaotao and Dai Yueheng recovered, until now. What happens now? Someone muttered. Shrek has been exposed. Who died, who was injured, it's all known. Even the spirit abilities of Wang Dong and the others have been revealed. Ma Xiaotao and the others fell silent. They didn't know how the leak had happened, only that the news had already spread beyond the hotel. Dai Yueheng, how's your investigation going? Wang Yan asked abruptly, after letting his anger out. The moment the information surfaced, Dai Yueheng had already taken action. Chapter 66. Huo Yuhao collapses. Muen mentions the blue-silver emperor. Wang Yan had been composed up to this point, but he couldn't hide the anger welling under his calm. He wanted to blame Xuanzi, but he had no right to do so. A heavy knot of frustration settled in his chest. Dai Yueheng's face was grave. Despite this being Star Luo City, he couldn't find any trace of the culprits. Teacher Wang, Dai Yueheng hesitated. He had nothing to report, and his hesitation said everything. Tell me what you found, Wang Yan demanded. Dai Yueheng ran through it. The papers were distributed by a group of men in black robes. As soon as they threw them, they vanished. When my men reached the spot, they were gone, no clues left behind. We tried to collect the papers, but there were too many, and it was already too late. The information has spread everywhere. We can't identify who those people were. When he finished, the room dropped into stunned silence. Who had those people been? To disappear like that was uncanny. Could it be some kind of spirit ability? Bei suggested. Wang Yan exhaled. Perhaps. There are many spirit abilities in the world. Even I haven't fully understood all of them. Everyone exchanged helpless looks. Whoever had done this had prepared well. Shrek's plan had backfired. Lin Xiao's backup, it seemed, had been simpler and darker than anyone guessed. Those black-robed figures weren't living men at all. They were undead. Animated skull messengers. Lin Xiao had been stretched out in front of the restaurant, snapping his fingers as a cover. Underneath, he'd cast necromancy to animate the little skeletons lurking in the shadows. The spell lasted only 5 minutes. After that, the constructs dissipated. That explained why Dai Yueheng's men had found nothing. There had been nothing to trace after the magic ended. The cover story also made sense of Lin Xiao's strategic behavior. He had not yet drawn Shrek's full scrutiny and wouldn't risk openly antagonizing them. Befriending Xiao Hongqian was simply preparation for future plans in the Sun Moon Empire. Lin Xiao wasn't worried about Xiao Hongqian mentioning him. By the time anyone pieced things together, the rumor would have spread so widely that Xiao Hongqian would assume Lin Xiao had heard it secondhand. Who would suspect him of orchestrating the incident while dining with Xiao Hongqian? News of the attack, or the leak, spread fast, and all the major powers took notice. Whether the accusations were true or false would become clear once the Soul Master competition began. If they were true, many factions would be eager to knock Shrek off its pedestal. In the Star Luo Imperial Palace, Princess Juju watched her brother, the Emperor, with a worried look. Imperial brother, do you think the information is true? It's true. There's no reason to doubt it, the Emperor said flatly. Shrek came to me and begged me to keep it secret, but I can't be held responsible now. He spoke with a cool indifference. He didn't like Shrek and felt no great urge to protect them. Princess Juju bit her lip. Will Shrek blame us? The Emperor waved a hand. It's of no consequence. Shrek always crushes those who arouse its ire. Even if we tried to clear our names, they'd still look on us suspiciously. I'm the Emperor. I don't need to do thankless favors. He had seen through Shrek, but lacked the power to confront them openly. Juju exhaled, helpless. Back at Shrek, Huo Yuhao slowly returned to consciousness, disoriented by the room around him. A recliner sat by the bed, and someone was slumped in it. Mu, Elder Mu, Huo Yuhao whispered, voice hollow. When he tried to move, he found his body didn't obey. My leg? He flung the quilt aside and stared in horror. Where his leg should have been was nothing but a bloody wound. For a moment he thought his limb had turned into metal. Panic seized him. Yuhao, I must apologize. Muen rose slowly from the chair. He looked worn and apologetic. Huo Yuhao fought to sit up. Tears leaked from the corners of his eyes. The realization hit him fully. He had lost his leg. His voice cracked. Elder Mu, Yuhao, your leg was severed in that battle. Shrek failed you. Muen's face was stricken. He watched the boy unravel in front of him. Why? Why is it gone? Huo Yuhao screamed, collapsing into fury and grief. Two legs, how can I be calm? How can I be calm? He pounded the mattress as if that could make his body whole again. Muen stood in silence for a long moment, then said slowly, there is another way to recover. Huo Yuhao's pain flickered into desperate hope. Elder Mu, what do you mean? Regrowing severed limbs, there may be a method. Muen chose his words carefully. It's not certain. I can't promise it will work. Huo Yuhao clung to the words as if to a rope. Please tell me it's possible. Muen hesitated and then continued. The blue-silver emperor, a blue-silver emperor's spirit bone can regenerate severed limbs. If you can find a blue-silver emperor's spirit bone, then recovery might be possible. Muen did know of the blue-silver emperor, but the information was a family secret, deeply hidden. How Muen had learned of it was complicated. It involved people like Yu Xiaogang. Yu Xiaogang, an opportunist who'd insulted Muen and yet somehow remained praised in certain circles, had been part of the chain by which such obscure knowledge circulated. Muen's awareness of the blue-silver emperor traced back through those messy connections, though he kept most of the details to himself. Huo Yuhao stared, bewildered. Elder Mu, what is the blue-silver emperor? I only know about blue-silver grass. He could barely accept the idea. Certain Muen was teasing him. The name sounded impossible. His mind clung to the familiar. He refused to believe something so fantastical could be the answer to his fate. Chapter 67, The Blue-Silver Emperor, Laughing Confidently at the Mortal World. The Blue-Silver Emperor was something few people knew about these days. What Huo Yuhao and the others knew was the blue-silver grass, and the being who had ascended to godhood with it, Xiaoling. In their understanding, Xiaoling's spirit was the blue-silver grass, and the Tang sect master also possessed a blue-silver grass spirit. So when Muen spoke of a blue-silver emperor and implied its powers were terrifying, Huo Yuhao was deeply skeptical. If it were so powerful, why had he never heard of it? Why hadn't teacher Xiaoya? Muen's mind drifted back to the fragmentary records he had once read. He was a descendant of Yu Xiaogang, the self-styled great master who bragged about having raised a god. Yu Xiaogang's notes had mentioned the blue-silver emperor, that ancestor Xiaoling had once used a blue-silver emperor spirit bone to help Tang Hao regrow severed limbs. But Yu Xiaogang's record was terse, only that single sentence. Over the years, references to the blue-silver emperor dwindled until it had all but vanished. When Muen first discovered the line in those old notes, he had been skeptical and nearly forgot it. It wasn't until Huo Yuhao turned up with severed legs that the vague hint resurfaced. That was all Muen had, a scrap from an unreliable source. Yu Xiaogang had been fond of exaggeration. He loved to puff up his own legend, so Muen could not be sure how accurate it was. Besides, public memory had long held that Xiaoling's spirit was the blue-silver grass, not some blue-silver emperor. To insist otherwise might shake Shrek's faith. It could even undermine the sect's morale, especially Beibei's. On a selfish note, Muen didn't want his descendant wasting himself chasing an uncertain lead. Still, Muen told Huo Yuhao what little he knew. Huo Yuhao listened, and in Muen's cautious words he saw hope, the hope that his lost limbs might be restored. Elder Mu, where is the blue-silver emperor? He asked. All that remained was its location. Muen hesitated, then gave an answer he wasn't sure of. The Sun-Moon Empire. He said it more to give Huo Yuhao something to hold on to than out of certainty. He couldn't give the young man hope, only to let him fall apart. Huo Yuhao felt a wash of relief. The possibility of regrowth made his loss bearable again. Muen, however, still didn't know whether the Blue-Silver Emperor could truly perform such a miracle. How about the Soul Master competition? Huo Yuhao asked after a moment, calmer now. How is it going? This time, Shrek's glory isn't the priority, Muen replied. As for how they'll perform, I trust Wang Yan will make the right decisions. Yuhao, focus on recovering these next few days. We'll handle everything after the competition, he added. Huo Yuhao opened his mouth but said nothing more. As he was now, he could do little even if he attended. It was better to rest. Wang Dong, he silently hoped, would bring good news. Neither Muen nor Huo Yuhao knew that Xuanzi had given instructions before leaving to make Shrek's path through the Soul Master competition a difficult one. The contest would not be easy for them. Star Luo Empire. Star Luo City. After saying goodbye to Lin Xiao, Xiao Hongchen returned to the hotel in high spirits. Ma Rulong and the others were already gathered when he walked in. Xiao Hongchen, you're finally back. We've got good news for you, Ma Rulong said, eyes bright. Xiao Hongchen grinned. Heh, I happen to have good news for you too. Ma Rulong laughed. Seems you already know. Shrek was almost wiped out on a mission. I thought you didn't know yet. Xiao Hongchen blinked. How do you know? Ma Rulong shrugged. By now, I doubt anyone doesn't know. People are spreading it all over town. Here. He handed over a flyer. Xiao Hongchen took it and read. After a moment, he chuckled. Good work, Lin Xiao. He already had an inkling, remembrance. Lin Xiao had something to do with it, though he didn't know how the man had managed to spread the rumor. Xiao Hongchen wasn't naive, just a little proud. Elder Ma, do you believe this? He asked, not committing his own opinion yet. Elder Ma nodded. I do. I saw the Shrek team myself, just like this says. Xiao Hongchen nodded too. I believe it as well, but I'm trusting one person. You mean that fellow you mentioned? Elder Ma guessed. Yes, Xiao Hongchen said. Hearing that an elder had seen the same thing only reinforced his certainty. He looked around, smiling. This time, if we don't take first place, you can tell me what to do. Marulong laughed loudly. This time, victory is certain. Chapter 68. Shrek Academy is eliminated. Lin Xiao didn't care about the Sunmoon Empire's team. His objective had already been met. Now he was just waiting to see whether Shrek could withstand what was coming next. In the most luxurious suite on the top floor of the hotel, Lin Xiao sat by the window watching the scenery below. Xiao Xiaozi, when are we going to watch the matches? He asked. Xiao Linger took a medicinal pill from her storage spirit tool, chewing as she looked at him. They had kept the Ice Empress sealed. With those two licking beasts around, bringing her out would be too risky. Lin Xiao smiled. Tomorrow, they should still be drawing lots now. If Lin Xiao remembered correctly, the first round of the Spirit Master competition was an elimination round. He wondered if the current Shrek could still make it through. He hadn't seen Huo Yuhao in 2 days, which confirmed to him that something serious had happened to Huo Yuhao. Without Huo Yuhao's spiritual presence to deter opponents, and with Ma Xiaotao and Dai Yuheng injured and unable to compete, and Ling Luochen not fully recovered, could Shrek win with the remaining members? Lin Xiao was skeptical. There were too many uncertainties. Soon the draw results came out. When they did, Shrek's faces fell. Their opponent was the same as in the original timeline, the Tianling Advanced Spirit Master Academy of the Dueling Empire. Tianling wasn't bad, but against Shrek, they had never been able to calm down. Inside the hotel, the Shrek members stared at one another in distress. Teacher Wang, how exactly are we going to compete? Bei asked. Wang Yan's expression was grim. The 3 major pillars were out, and the preparatory team was missing one key member, Shu Sanshi. What if I go in and hold one of them? Ling Luochen, the least injured of the regulars, suggested. Ma Xiaotao opened her mouth, but no words came. Ling Luochen stepping up was already the best option. Dai Yueheng wanted to speak too, but the words stuck in his throat. For Shrek's honor, they had to try. Wang Yan hesitated. He didn't want Ling Luochen to fight in her condition, but if she didn't, Shrek would become a laughingstock. He remembered Xuanzi's words, for Shrek's glory at all costs. At last he nodded. All right, Ling Luochen. I'll go and hold the fort. I can still make one move, Ling Luochen said after a moment's pause. If she didn't step forward now, there would be no one left. She could do something, but what it would cost was uncertain. The next day, the competition began. Lin Xiao and Xiao Linger sat in the stands while the Star Luo Emperor droned on. At last, the announcement came for both teams to take the field, and Lin Xiao watched seriously. On the stage, the Tianling team showed none of the cowardice they had in the original timeline. Each of them held a spirit tool, well prepared, wearing an air of arrogance. Shrek's misfortune had made them overconfident. They'd even borrowed spirit tools from Xiao Hongqin's team to ensure they made a name for themselves. To beat the undefeated legend Shrek in one match would spread their fame across the Douluo Continent. They spared no effort. When Xiao Hongqin learned they were facing Shrek, he readily lent them spirit tools, one even being a one-time use rank 5, and shared everything Lin Xiao had told him about the Shrek student's spirit abilities. Lin Xiao didn't know about that arrangement. Seeing Tianling's confident faces on stage, he grinned. Shrek was about to suffer. Both sides took their positions. The Tianling leader murmured, "Strike fast, show no mercy. We must win this cleanly." The team tightened their grip on their spirit tools, brimming with resolve. This match had no Huoyuhao, no spirit fusion skill, no 100,000-year spirit ring, only Tianling's belief in victory. The stage's pillars of light flared, and the match began. Go! Spirits were released in rapid succession. Shrek deployed Ling Luochen, still on the field despite her injuries, and 4 spirit ancestors from the preparatory team. They were strong, but Tianling, armed with borrowed spirit tools, was not weak either. The two sides were evenly matched. Shrek moved first. Ling Luochen didn't activate any spirit ability, she simply controlled the field. Shu Sanqi unleashed his ability, Bei Bei activated hers. He Kaito used a spirit tool, Xiao Xiao brought out his large cauldron, Jiang Nanan used her soft bones rabbit possession, and Wang Dong's radiant goddess butterfly struck out. Tianling countered with their spirit tools. Shrek fought hard, but Tianling had low-level spirit ancestors as well, plus the advantage of those defensive devices. The battle dragged back and forth. Ling Luochen had yet to make a decisive move, and the borrowed spirit tools forced Shrek onto the defensive. Should I do it? Ling Luochen thought, growing anxious as she watched. Then she acted. A terrifying chill condensed on her staff. Ice! Descend! A faint blue light swirled outward, and ice fell like a shower from the sky, smashing toward the Tianling team. The Tianling leader roared, "Form up!" They huddled together, and a spirit tool barrier flared into existence, a golden light instantly blocking Ling Luochen's ice. "It's a rank 5 spirit tool," He Kaitu exclaimed. The rank 5 had been lent by Xiao Hongqin. It was a one-time use device. It was gone after that strike, but it was enough to stop Ling Luochen's attack. Blood already trickled from the corner of Ling Luochen's mouth. She had used all she could. With the rank 5 barrier gone, the momentum shifted. Tianling launched a counteroffensive. Their defensive spirit tools gave them cover. 4 low-level spirit ancestors held off Shrek's 4 spirit ancestors, while the rest found matchups of their own. Ling Luochen, weakened by injury, was knocked off the stage. Shu Sanqi used his foul spirit ability and took an opponent down with him. Bei Bei was stuck in a stalemate, but Tianling's players hid behind their spirit tools and refused to fight out in the open. Xiao Xiao was helpless against their turtle-like defenses. He Kaitu pushed his tools to the limit. Jiang Nanan kept struggling. Wang Dong's clear sky hammer slammed into an opponent, but he was running out of soul power. Tianling's members activated their protections and disappeared behind their devices. No one wanted to admit defeat. Seeing the advantage, the Tianling leader snarled, "All together, now! Give it everything you've got!" They launched a coordinated assault. Even Shrek's preparatory team was strong, but without room to move, and with several members exhausted or injured, they couldn't break Tianling's defenses. Lin Xiao watched with interest. The match was intense and thrilling. He still didn't know where Tianling had gotten all those spirit tools, but that didn't matter, as long as Shrek lost. Just then, Lin Xiao noticed only one Tianling member left standing on the stage. Shrek had lost. Yes, invincible Shrek was defeated in the very first elimination match. Shrek's run in the spirit dueling competition lasted a single day. No one expected the academy everyone revered to fall to Tianling in the opening round. The myth of Shrek's invincibility was shattered in an instant. The host stared at the scene in disbelief, his voice faltering as he tried to figure out how to announce the unexpected outcome. Chapter 69, Shrek Academy is either first or last. The tournament host's face twisted with displeasure. He had not expected Shrek to actually lose, much less so humiliatingly. Tianling Advanced Spirit Master Academy had clung to the match with spirit tools, dragging it out until only their final member remained standing on stage. Everyone waited, hoping against hope that Shrek would get back up. But they were disappointed. Shrek lay powerless across the stage, unable to rise. The host glanced at the Emperor of Star Luo, who gave a barely perceptible nod. Taking the cue, the host raised the microphone to make the official announcement. Lin Xiao watched intently, anticipating any final surprises. The two licking beasts, Da Ming and Ming, looked desperate, itching to rush forward and gather Wang Dong in their arms to heal her. Below the stage, the arena was deathly quiet, every eye fixed on the prone champions. When the host's voice finally broke the silence, it was like a verdict. The winner is Tianling Advanced Spirit Master Academy. That single declaration sealed Shrek's fate. Laughter rang out sharply across the arena alongside the announcement, mocking, triumphant, and cruel. All eyes swung toward the source. Slouched in his seat with a grin that showed absolute contempt was Xiao Hongqian of the Sun Moon Empire. "Clap, clap, clap," he called, standing and applauding theatrically. "Splendid, simply splendid. Congratulations to Shrek for taking first place." He laughed as he spoke. To him, Shrek being knocked out in the first round was the height of irony. How could that not be first? The Sun Moon Empire contingent left the stadium laughing, convinced they'd secured the glory of the tournament. "Ha ha! Sun Moon Empire, you're asking for trouble." Ma Xiaotao exploded, leaping to her feet. Her eyes blazed. The crowd fell quiet. No one wanted to be caught between two powerhouses. Xiao Hongqian paused, turned with a smug smile, and sneered back. "What's the matter? Can't Shrek afford to lose? You already have first place. What more do you want?" His words echoed the sentiments of many. Shrek had dominated for too long. The insult stung. Being top for so long had made some believe it was forever. To Shrek, it sounded hollow. They could still be called number one, but their dignity had been trampled by an obscure academy, and the Sun Moon Empire was rubbing salt in the wound. Wang Yan's face tightened as he gripped Ma Xiaotao's arm. "Enough, Xiaotao. A loss is a loss." "Our Shrek isn't a sore loser," she countered, furious. Before she could say more, Wang Yan kept a steady hold on her. He couldn't risk her losing control. The evil fire within her could spiral out of control. Dai Yuheng's jaw clenched. He wanted to spring forward as well. "Heh, I thought Shrek would be more magnanimous. Is this it? A number one should carry themselves like a number one," Xiao Hongqian taunted, waving off his rivals as he prepared to leave. Xiao Hongqian's words voiced the private satisfactions of many academies. Shrek had been arrogant for too long. He kept glancing back, waiting for an eruption. Instead, Wang Yan remained unusually restrained, holding both Ma Xiaotao and Dai Yuehen in check. Lin Xiao observed with thinly veiled amusement. To him, this was an excellent show. Shrek still had the title of first. Even if the circumstances had been twisted, fame, after all, could survive a single stain. After the Sun Moon Empire group departed, Ma Xiaotao and the rest of Shrek's members retreated. As they left, thunderous applause filled the arena. The noise cut deep. Every Shrek member felt it like a blade. Were people truly this happy about their defeat? "I can't stand it." Ma Xiaotao's voice was frighteningly cold as she slammed a fist into the wall. "Xiaotao, calm down." Wang Yan snapped, his worry plain. "Teacher Wang," she started, but her fury had no outlet. "Calm down, Xiaotao," Wang Yan soothed, steadying her. He was terrified of what might happen if she lost control. The others could be managed, but Ma Xiaotao was different. Should she succumb, it could be disastrous. Wang Yan and Dai Yueheng exchanged a look. Without a word, Dai Yueheng moved behind her and delivered a precise chop to her neck, and she slumped unconscious. He slinged her over his back and followed Wang Yan back to the hotel. Once inside the hotel room, the mood was heavy. None of the team dared to meet Wang Yan's eyes. "Teacher Wang, it wasn't really our fault. The other side used spirit tools. If not for that, there's no way we could have lost." Hikaru spoke first. He'd studied spirit tools and recognized their decisive role in the match. Wang Yan nodded. Good. Even in defeat, you've learned something. The loss wasn't entirely without benefit. As for where they got those spirit tools from, I don't need to tell you, right? He added, and everyone exchanged a look. Given Xiao Hongchen's behavior, none of them believed the Sun Moon Empire had stayed uninvolved. Sun Moon Empire. Damn them! Dai Yueheng fumed, clenching his fists. He had expected to make a statement this tournament, only to have their momentum undercut. Wang Yan bowed slightly to the team. This failure is my responsibility. I didn't make everything clear. When we return, I will apologize to Elder Mu in person. The students immediately crowded to reassure him. Beibei protested. Teacher Wang, no, this wasn't your fault. We underestimated the enemy. Shusanqi agreed. Yes, Teacher Wang. We're the ones who failed. Dai Yueheng chimed in as well. Teacher Wang, don't blame yourself. If not for this, we would have been in a better state. Elder Mu won't fault you. Their voices steadied him. Wang Yan felt a warmth that almost made his eyes sting. Shrek's ancestors, Shrek's glory. He had failed them. He had led them to first place once himself, but this time the title of first felt different, tainted, hollow. Still, they were first in name, even if the meaning finally had shifted. Chapter 70. Ma Xiaotao's evil fire erupts. News that Shrek had finished last spread through the entire Star Luo Empire with astonishing speed. It was the kind of event the Douluo Continent talked about once invincible Shrek had been defeated. In the arena, after watching those two licking beasts leave, Lin Xiao had already lost interest in the rest of the matches. To be honest, this Soul Master competition wasn't very entertaining. If not for other reasons, he wouldn't have come at all. Why are we leaving? Aren't you going to watch more? Xiao Linger was excited. She had never seen such a fierce match before. Lin Xiao smiled. Let's go. There's serious business to attend to. I'll bring you back for the next one in 5 years. 5 years? By then I'll already be a titled Douluo. That'd be like bullying children, Xiao Linger scoffed, genuinely disdainful of the idea. Lin Xiao chuckled. With her talent and the help of medicinal pills, breaking through to titled Douluo in 5 years wasn't impossible, even if she disliked training. Let's go. They left. Back at the hotel where Shrek's team was staying, Ma Xiaotao had regained consciousness, but the evil fire inside her was stirring. Her mood was sour, ready to ignite at the slightest provocation. Seeing the dejected faces around her, a surge of anger flared. The taunts from the Sun Moon Empire and the jeers of onlookers felt like blades driving into her chest. She was Shrek's prodigy. She should have fought for Shrek's honor. Instead, Shrek's reputation had been trampled while she was left powerless to stop it. All right, Xiaotao, don't let it consume you. I'll explain everything once we get back, Wang Yan said, trying to soothe her. He was hurt and furious too, but the result was settled. Nothing could change it. Ma Xiaotao nodded helplessly. The competition was over. Shrek's humiliation felt unreal, like a bad dream. Pack up. We're heading back, Wang Yan ordered. Staying would only invite ridicule. They exchanged glances and with heavy hearts complied. This had been the greatest humiliation Shrek had ever suffered, an ache they would carry until the next competition, when they vowed to wash the shame away. They stepped out of the hotel and, as if by cruel fate, ran into the Sun Moon Empire's group. Xiao Hongchen had been waiting. He'd kept watch, eager to confront Shrek. How could he let them go easily? He wore a mocking smile. Oh? Leaving already? Not going to watch more? Maybe you could still pull some strings? Looking for death? A sudden shout cut through. A flaming fist shot toward Xiao Hongchen. Startled, he tried to retreat, but another hand seized the incoming blow. Elder Ma had intercepted Ma Xiaotao's attack in an instant. Hesh, Shrek! A bunch of hypocrites, Elder Ma sneered, glancing contemptuously at Shrek's members. With a flick of his wrist, he sent Ma Xiaotao stumbling backward. Rage filled Ma Xiaotao's eyes. The aura around her roiled, and a strange, sinister flame burst from her body. It was not regular fire. There was a black taint to it, a corrupt, evil heat. On the verge of collapse already, Ma Xiaotao had been provoked into unleashing her evil fire. Her power surged terrifyingly. Not good, Wang Yan shouted. Stop, Xiaotao! But it was too late. The evil fire had fully erupted. Xiao Hongchen and his companions stared in stunned silence. Someone blurted out, Shrek has an evil soul master. The words hit like a bomb. Panic rippled through the crowd. Shrek's people feared Ma Xiaotao would be branded an evil soul master. Others were stunned that Shrek could be linked to one. Xiaotao is not an evil soul master, Wang Yan roared, but Ma Xiaotao's state looked exactly like that label. Murderous, sinister, out of control. Madness clouded her mind. She could no longer restrain the evil fire. Her gaze locked onto the Sun Moon Empire group. Lin Xiao and Xiao Linger, who had just returned, stopped at a safe distance and watched the commotion. Shh, just enjoy the show, Linger, Lin Xiao murmured, tapping the ring on his finger. The medicine elder inside the ring understood and extended his perception. Xiao Xiaozi? The medicine elder's voice asked in Lin Xiao's mind. Master, can you sense the girl in red? That flame, can I absorb it? Lin Xiao asked. Evil fire? You mean the energy she's emitting is evil fire? The medicine elder replied, surprised. He reached out with his senses. It was indeed a fire-like energy, though its grade seemed somewhat low. Yes, master, I can absorb it, Lin Xiao answered. What? You plan to kill her and take the flame? The medicine elder's tone turned cold. No, not like that, Lin Xiao hurried to clarify. He wanted to absorb the flame, but he wasn't cruel enough to slaughter her for it. The medicine elder's tone softened. Xiao Xiaozi, ruthless is acceptable, but murderous, never. This is what I'm trying to teach you. Lin Xiao listened as the medicine elder continued. You don't have goodwill towards Shrek, but grievances have origins. Debts have debtors. Those who deserve death must die, but you must not be soft. Lin Xiao nodded inwardly. He understood his master's principle. Be decisive, but don't lose your way. I understand, master. Chapter 71. Flame Martial Soul is also fire. Lin Xiao found Yao Lao's lessons useful. He wasn't bloodthirsty by nature, and Yao Lao's pragmatic ruthlessness fit him well. A venerable like Yao Lao wasn't likely to be overly merciful, but he wasn't wantonly murderous either. Those who deserved death would die, and enemies deserved no kindness. Lin Xiao would not be sentimental in a fight. He had learned to use waste to choose his targets. Xiao Xiaozi, Yao Lao murmured in his mind. That girl's evil fire accompanied the birth of her spirit. But fundamentally, a flame spirit is still just a manifestation of fire. Lin Xiao froze. Master, do you mean, if a flame spirit is fire, Lin Xiao finished the thought, I could absorb it. My spirit is fire too. Why didn't I think of this? Yao Lao's voice came again. Exactly what you're thinking. But the rank of those flames is too low, and they contain too many impurities. Absorbing them would be a waste for you. Only an extremely high-level flame spirit would be worth taking. Lin Xiao nodded as the meaning sank in. Flame spirits were common on the Douluo Continent, but most were impure, unfit for real progress. Ultimate fire, high-grade heavenly flames, was pitifully rare. Unless a flame spirit reached the titled or ultimate level, it was more trouble than it was worth. He'd have to spend time purifying it. It was better to be exceptional in one area than to accumulate a mess of low-grade power. Ma Xiaotao's evil fire, however, was special. It had plagued her continuously and required a unique way to resolve it. Even if it wasn't top rank, obtaining it would be a real boon. Lin Xiao knew how to choose his battles. Master, even if flame spirits can be absorbed by me, I won't be cruel enough to kill people just to snatch their power, he said. But if they're enemies, and their spirit just happens to be fire, they can't complain if I take advantage of that, he added with a dry laugh. Yao Lao smiled faintly in his mind. If they're your enemies, remember one thing, pull up the grass by the roots. Leave no chance for them to come back. Yao Lao fell silent after that and relaxed inside the ring. The Ice Emperor, transformed into a tiny scorpion, lay curled on Xiao He and slept blissfully. Electrolux, however, was deep in thought. He held the lingering divine sense of the god King Xiaoling and toyed with several skulls and the corpses of a few soft-boned rabbits. Lin Xiao didn't press Yao Lao further. He already understood the warning. Villains died from talking too much, and you had to be thorough. He was an extraterrestrial demon by count now. Showing mercy could bring trouble. He watched the match between Shrek and the Sun Moon Empire with steady eyes. Xiao Linger, squatting at his side, muttered excitedly, Fight, fight! Keep it down, Lin Xiao told her. She immediately obeyed and watched quietly. Ma Xiaotao had already lost control. The crowd was calling her an evil spirit master. Xiaotao is not an evil spirit master, Wang Yan shouted, trying to defend her. Senior Ma is a good person. She's only being overwhelmed by the evil fire. Wang Dong added her voice. Others tried to argue too, but no one in the audience believed explanations when they could see the evidence. Ma Xiaotao's state spoke for itself. Elder Ma's eyes went cold. Slaying evil spirit masters was a duty everyone on the Douluo Continent understood. In an instant, Ma Xiaotao lashed out with a blast of fire. Elder Ma's spirit flared, and he charged. Although Ma Xiaotao's official cultivation was at the Soul Emperor level, the power she was expelling had reached that of a spirit saint. As they clashed, Xiao Hongqian subtly signaled someone next to him. That person slipped away quietly. In a nearby room, two men watched the scene with intense interest. Da Ming, can you resolve that evil fire? Ming whispered. The two hidden observers had been unaware they were being watched. Lin Xiao was out in the open. No, our strength is restricted unless we restore our full power, Da Ming said. But we can control it well enough. Da Ming's mental energy stayed locked on Wang Dong, watching for any sign of danger. Ming's attention was the same. We should act, Ming. If they keep fighting, that old fellow won't be able to hold off Ma Xiaotao. Outside, Elder Ma was having a hard time. The longer the fight went on, the more Ma Xiaotao's evil fire flared, as if it fed on her life force, and in turn drove her attacks to ever greater ferocity. Xiao Hongqian, you guys need to leave, now! Elder Ma barked while fending off another attack, voice edged with panic. I'm about to lose control of this evil spirit master. The members of Shrek were alarmed. Wang Yan's face tightened. Da Yueheng, go get a title Douluo now, he yelled. Da Yueheng spun and rushed for the exit, but before he could go, a nearby door opened. Two burly, middle-aged men stepped out and blocked him. Little brat, don't bother, one of them said, voice like iron. Da Yueheng halted. Lin Xiao's expression changed the moment he saw those two. Xiao Linger's eyes flashed with killing intent, but Lin Xiao put a hand on her head and the fierce look vanished in an instant. Chapter 72. Two limit Douluo make their move. The moment Ming's familiar voice rang out, Wang Dong sprang into action. First father, second father. Her shout turned every head in the hall. The others from Shrek stared at the two rugged middle-aged men in confusion. Wang Dong hurriedly recovered her composure and rushed over to Da Ming and Ming. Please help senior sister Ma. Da Ming tried to steady the situation. Donger, don't panic. Second father will handle this. Ming was briefly flustered. He had almost let something slip, but he recovered instantly. You old geezer over there, let go of that girl and face me, he bellowed, then charged forward in a blur. That shout stunned everyone. The way he'd spoken, so crude, so familiar, sounded oddly out of place for a man of his bearing. Before anyone could react, Ming slammed his palm forward. An overwhelming pressure of soul power exploded outward. The attacking elder was sent flying. A shockwave swept over the group, and Ma Xiaotao collapsed, knocked unconscious. Limit Douluo, the man on the ground gasped, his voice half lost in the whirlwind. Watching him, Elder Ma's face went pale. This man, Shu Sanshi, was a limit Douluo. Damn it! If Shrek really hit a limit Douluo, the Sun Moon Empire's calculations were all wrong. There might be more than one. Excluding Muen, that made two limits inside Shrek. Xiao Hongqian and the others frowned at the words, limit Douluo. The presence of one changed everything. Xiao Hongqian cut the moment short. Take Elder Ma and go, he barked, deciding the situation could no longer be prolonged. Even so, a limit Douluo or two didn't erase the fact that Shrek was cultivating an evil soul master. With that, Xiao Hongqian and his contingent withdrew. Lin Xiao collected Xiao Linger and left as well. Wang Dong looked at Ming, panic in her eyes. Second father, how is senior sister Ma? Ming exhaled and let out a bright laugh. Don't worry, Donger. She's fine. I've suppressed the evil fire in her body. You don't need to worry. Wang Dong breathed easier and smiled. Wang Yan moved to Ma Xiaotao's side and offered a grateful bow to the two men. Thank you, seniors, for your help. No need, Da Ming replied. You're Donger's friends. We had to help. Ming stood by with a foolish grin, eyes soft as he looked at Wang Dong. The group escorted Da Ming and Ming back to their room so Ma Xiaotao could be watched. With her condition unstable, the group couldn't travel immediately. Once they'd settled, Wang Dong spoke up. First father, second father, is there any way to cure senior sister Ma's evil fire? Da Ming shook his head. It can be controlled, but not cured. and unless I regain my full strength, there's nothing I can do about it permanently. Do you have any records? Wang Yan asked. If anyone could tell them how to fully remove the evil fire, it would be in some old record. Deming frowned. Records exist, yes. You have a statue at the gate of Shrek, an evil fire phoenix who ascended and removed its evil fire. It did so by obtaining an immortal plant from Shaoling, the coxcomb phoenix sunflower. Wang Yan's face fell. Where are we supposed to find another coxcomb phoenix sunflower? All the immortal plants are with Lin Xiao now. Deming sighed. Exactly. Without access to that plant, the method won't work. At best, I could treat the symptoms, ultimate ice, for instance, but that won't solve the root problem. Wang Yan's expression darkened. Seeing that, Wang Dong quickly changed the subject. Why did you come here, actually? Did something happen at home? Da Ming chuckled. We came to watch your tournament. You didn't disgrace yourself, so we were pleased to see you. Ming added, grinning. You lost, but not without a fight. And honestly, we can't teach you better. Your first and second fathers aren't the patient sort. Wang Dong rolled her eyes playfully. Home's boring. I don't like staying there. The others laughed, relieved by the familiar family banter. Wang Yan cleared his throat. Seniors, our Shrek Academy would be honored if you would let us host you properly. Da Ming waved a hand. No, we don't meddle in worldly affairs. We came only to see Donger. Now that that's done, we're leaving. Ming nodded in agreement. Wang Yan lowered his head. Neutrality was better than having these two declared allies or enemies. Besides, with Wang Dong around, the two powerful Douluo would hardly become Shrek's foes. Thank you again for today, Wang Yan said nonetheless. Deming and Ming waved it off, and soon they were gone. The atmosphere relaxed noticeably as the two left. Wang Dong, your dad's our limit Douluo. Why did you ever join Shrek? Susanshi teased, eyes glittering. It's boring at home, Wang Dong said with a laugh, and they don't teach well. The others nodded, understanding. Susanshi joked, I'll be clinging to your coattails from now on. 2 limit-titled Douluo on our side. The students grinned and agreed. Bei then asked Wang Yan, when do we head back? Wang Yan considered and finally decided, let's wait a few days. There's an auction in 2 days. We'll leave after that. They all shared a look and nodded. Ma Xiaotao's condition still needed monitoring. Traveling now could be risky if the evil fire flared up again. At worst, they would simply stay put for a little longer. The thought of going out right away, after everything that had happened, was mortifying. Better to lie low and let things settle. Chapter 73, Information Trading with Xiao Hongchen. In the hotel lobby, Lin Xiao sat with Xiao Linger. He summoned a waiter, had a message delivered to Xiao Hongchen, then led Xiao Linger back to the small dining area where they'd eaten before to wait. It wasn't long before Xiao Hongchen arrived, accompanied by Meng Hongchen. Xiao Hongchen's face was swollen with emotion. Usually arrogant, he now looked not only angry but wounded. Limit Douluos were a rarity in any nation, and 2 had appeared at once, neither from the Sun Moon Empire. He couldn't hide his unease. What's wrong? Scared of those 2 Limit Doulos? Lin Xiao joked, smiling. Xiao Hongchen scowled. How did you know about those 2? Lin Xiao chuckled. Your style of mocking Shrek was on full display. I saw enough from a distance. Xiao Hongchen rolled his eyes. How had he not noticed Lin Xiao earlier? He straightened and asked the point-blank question. You called me here because you have information on those 2 Limit Doulos, right? I do, and I'll tell you. I'll even throw in a bonus piece of information. Xiao Hongchen hesitated. What do you want in return? Lin Xiao sipped his tea and replied casually. Talk. Speak? Xiao Hongchen blinked. You mean, what do I offer in return? As long as it's something feasible, Xiao Hongchen said. He was straightforward, not one for complicated bargaining. After the Soul Master competition, one of my senior sisters will go to the Sun Moon Empire to study spirit tool technology. When she goes, I want you to guide her and teach her without reservation. That's it? Nothing else? Xiao Hongchen was surprised. He had expected something bigger. Why does it sound simple? Lin Xiao smiled faintly. Is it difficult? I could even have my great-grandfather teach her. Fine, then let your great-grandfather teach her. Don't go back on your word, Brother Xiao. Lin Xiao was quietly satisfied with the answer. Xiao Hongchen hastened to add, No, wait, he's very busy. I can't promise he'll teach her personally, but I can guarantee an 8th-class spirit engineer will," Lin Xiao said. He didn't actually expect Xiao Hongchen's family elder to take a personal role. Learning most of it would be enough. "Good. Now tell me about those two titled doulos," Xiao Hongchen said. "Have you heard of the Clear Sky sect?" Lin Xiao asked. Xiao Hongchen frowned and then nodded. "The Clear Sky sect from 10,000 years ago? They're in seclusion now. Nobody knows exactly where they are." "Those two are from the Clear Sky sect." Xiao Hongchen's eyes widened. The Clear Sky sect, the sect of sea god Xiaoling's father. He hadn't expected those two limit doulos to hail from there. If that was true, how many titled doulos did the Clear Sky sect still have? The thought unsettled him. They're from the Clear Sky sect, but you don't need to worry about whether they'll act against you. "Is that all?" Lin Xiao asked nothing, just watched him. He picked a bite of food and chewed slowly as Xiao Hongchen absorbed the news. The younger man didn't press why the Clear Sky sect wouldn't move against them. Instead, he leaned in, hungry for more. "It's enough. What else do you have?" he asked, trying to steady himself. Lin Xiao set the food down. "During today's match, do you remember the guy from Shrek who used spirit tools?" Xiao Hongchen thought back. He'd been busy taunting Shrek earlier and had paid little attention. "There was a person like that, but nothing special about him," I thought. For now, nothing seemed special. He has twin spirits. One is the sun, the other a cigar. Most importantly, his surname is Shu. At those two words, Meng Hongchen, who had been eating with Xiao Linger, snapped his head toward Lin Xiao. Xiao Hongchen's breath hitched. The surname Shu in the Sun Moon Empire carried a weight of its own. His mind raced. "Lin Xiao!" Xiao Hongchen started, stunned as if struck. He needed a moment to collect himself. "Wait, do you mean?" Lin Xiao nodded calmly, took a sip of tea, and said, "Be bold. His name is Shu He, the former crown prince, Shu He." Xiao Hongchen exhaled sharply. Shrek had been hiding things very deep. If Shu He was infiltrating Shrek's ranks, that gave them the kind of leverage to strike the Sun Moon Empire with plausible cause. It was diabolical. Lin Xiao didn't stop there. "There's one more thing. Do you still want it?" "Speak," Xiao Hongchen said. He was already prepared to take the information to his great-grandfather if it checked out. "Shrek has an ultimate single-soldier project, and it concerns your Sun Moon Empire. Shu He is part of that project." Xiao Hongchen's heart pounded. This was huge. "There is another person in the project named Huo Yuhao. If my information is correct, after the Soul Master competition, your Sun Moon Empire and Shrek will run an exchange student program. Huo Yuhao will go to study spirit tools as part of that program." Lin Xiao's voice was steady, almost casual, as though he were recounting a mundane fact rather than revealing a strategic gambit. "When that happens." His implication hung in the air. Xiao Hongchen felt the weight of the scenario press in. If all of this was true, Shrek had set up a deep-rooted plan, hidden behind exchanges and schooling. "Lin Xiao, is this information accurate? If you want to believe it, then it's accurate. If you don't, then it isn't." Lin Xiao shrugged. He didn't care whether Xiao Hongchen trusted him. The suspicion alone would complicate matters for Huo Yuhao when he came to study spirit tools. Xiao Hongchen nodded slowly, tasting each revelation. Lin Xiao had laid out details that fit together too neatly to be a coincidence. Better to believe it and prepare than to dismiss it and be blindsided later. Chapter 74. 2 Auctions. Judging from the details he'd been given, Lin Xiao hadn't lied. Each of those 3 pieces of information mattered. Shu He, the former crown prince, the exchange student program, all of it needed verification. If it checked out, Lin Xiao's intel would be solid. He was proud, but not foolish. He knew how serious this was and that it couldn't be rushed. Xiao Hongchen had lost his appetite. "Lin Xiao, I believe you. If you get more information later, we can trade again." "Where should I find you next time?" Lin Xiao asked. Xiao Hongchen smiled wryly. He knew Lin Xiao's methods were not simple and that he might need help again. "You'll find me," he said. "I'll come to you. We'll talk more then." "Are you still going to eat?" Lin Xiao asked, amused at Xiao Hongchen's impatience. "No, I'm leaving right now." Xiao Hongchen straightened. "Brother Lin, don't worry. I won't reveal your involvement." His look to Lin Xiao conveyed everything that needed saying. He turned to his sister. "Sister, let's go. This is serious." Meng Hongchen finally registered how grave it was. She glanced sadly at the untouched food and murmured, Sister Linger, we'll eat together next time. Xiao Linger, still chewing on a spirit beast leg, waved. Okay, next time. Xiao Hongqian and Meng Hongqian left. Lin Xiao ate as well, finishing his meal before taking Xiao Linger with him to the lodging where the Heavenly Soul Empire's team was staying. Before he'd left the Heavenly Soul Empire, he'd told Vina she had to attend the tournament. Star Luo would hold 2 auctions during this period, and the second one would be extremely high level. That was why he'd insisted she come. The first auction had been where Huo Yuhao acquired the ranked engraving knife. With that gone, the spirit tool Dai Yueheng had purchased was still around, but it was the second auction Lin Xiao cared about. At his current standing, he couldn't attend it on his own. He hadn't come under the Holy Sun identity of the body sect. Besides Xiao Hongqian, only Vina could get him in. There were also body sect representatives. If Lin Xiao remembered correctly, 2 were supposed to be here: big-headed Langya and Qilin-armed Yu Tao. Langya hadn't come, sent by Du Buzi to develop spirit tools, so Lin Xiao didn't know if Yu Tao had arrived. The second auction would feature a spirit bone from an Ice Empress clansman and even a Snow Empress embryo. The spirit bone wasn't a 100,000-year-old relic, but its spirit aptitude was respectable. Lin Xiao might not need it personally, but if the Ice Empress learned of it, she would want it back. Ideally, Shrek should buy it, would make things interesting later. The Snow Empress embryo, though, that could be the fuse that detonated the conflict between Shrek and the Sun Moon Empire. Lin Xiao planned to use his Xuanzi identity to snatch it openly. Between the former Crown Prince Shu He and Shrek's ultimate single-soldier project, one of them would surely anger the Sun Moon Empire. If Lin Xiao pushed things right, only he would benefit. Senior sister Vina. Lin Xiao smiled when he found her. Junior brother, you finally arrived. I couldn't find you these past few days. I thought you weren't coming, Vina said, surprised. You seem to have grown stronger. She squinted at him. She still couldn't quite see through this junior brother. I just broke through to level 40, Lin Xiao said. Vina's jaw dropped. She hadn't even broken through to level 30 yet. Junior brother, your cultivation is unbelievably fast. I'm a little envious myself, Lin Xiao admitted. Has anyone from our body sect come? He asked. Vina answered softly. Elder Yu Tao has. He's staying at another hotel. Lin Xiao nodded, so only one had come. Langya had been sent elsewhere. Yu Tao was the only body sect representative here. He'd go see him later when there was time. Senior sister, Linger and I will stay with you for the next few days. Will that be all right? Lin Xiao asked. Hey, of course, Vina said. Come on, I'll take you to the hotel. Teach me how you cultivate. Your speed is ridiculous. The 3 left together. Time passed quickly. The Starlight Auction House's top-tier sale opened that day. Lin Xiao had been cultivating at the hotel Vina prepared and hadn't bothered with the first auction. When Vina told him about the second, he decided to go. In the meantime, Xiao Hongqian had sent someone to the Sun Moon Empire to consult his great-grandfather. The response suggested that Lin Xiao's information was likely true, which sent Xiao Hongqian into even greater anxiety. He wrote down everything he knew and had it delivered to his great-grandfather Jing Hongqian. Only then did he relax. Shrek's team had planned to leave after the first auction, but learned about the later top-tier sale and stayed. Lin Xiao only found out they were still around after Vina checked. Let's go, Linger. We'll follow senior sister and see the world, Lin Xiao said, and they headed for the auction together. Because Vina was a heavenly soul princess, she had an invitation. At Lin Xiao's request, only the 3 of them entered a private auction room. No sooner had they taken their seats than there was a knock at the door. The 3 exchanged glances. I'll open it, Vina giggled and ran to the door. She swung it open and saw Yu Tao. Elder, you're here? She asked. Quick, come in. Vina ushered him inside. As soon as Yu Tao caught sight of Lin Xiao, he straightened and bowed deeply. Greetings, Holy Son. Lin Xiao was surprised to see him. He guessed Vina must have mentioned that he would be attending, which prompted Yu Tao to come. Elder, there's no need for such formality. Outside of the sect, I'm just Lin Xiao, he said lightly, helping Yu Tao up. Yu Tao was touched. His Holy Son showed no airs at all. I came to pay my respects when I heard the Holy Son was here, Yu Tao replied. He sat and relayed Du Buzi's orders. The sect master said that if the Holy Sun takes a liking to anything at the auction, feel free to buy it. Our body sect isn't short on funds. Chapter 75, Snow Emperor's Embryo. We're not short on money. Lin Xiao smiled faintly. The body sect had been in seclusion for so long that they must have reserves, but he still didn't know how deep their coffers ran. After all, the Snow Empress's embryo had once fetched over 100 million at auction. He looked at Elder Yu and asked casually, "Elder Yu, do you think our sect could come up with 100 million? Yu Tao nearly spat out the water he was drinking. His holy son could scare people to death the moment he opened his mouth. 100 million? The holy son actually asked for that. Could any auction reach that amount? That, holy son, the most we could raise right now is 50 million. Yu Tao said after a quick mental calculation. Lin Xiao nodded. 50 million was a lot, but perhaps not enough. Then again, he had no intention of buying anything himself, so it didn't matter. Elder Yu, have a seat. If something you like comes up, speak up. It's on me. He sounded casual, which made Yu Tao accept the offer without another word. Through the light screen they were watching, Lin Xiao could clearly see the auction floor below. A breathtaking woman appeared and began to walk slowly onto the stage. Tall, noble, smiling on a fair face, her flowing dress could not conceal a graceful figure. Spacing out, Xiaozi? Xiao Linger's voice suddenly sounded in his ear. He was startled, then grinned. No, I was just surprised Princess Juju is hosting this in person. Junior brother, you actually know Princess Juju? Vina said. She knew Juju, but hadn't expected Lin Xiao to. He answered, I know her fairly well. Don't forget I'm still your senior sister, Vina teased and tapped his head, asserting her seniority. Princess Juju warmed up the crowd, and the auction began. Lots rose and fell as the items went under the hammer, but nothing suited Lin Xiao and his companions. Juju kept the audience engaged with practiced poise. Time ticked by until only 2 items remained. The next item is rare even across the entire continent. Please direct your attention to the big screen, Juju announced. On the screen, an ice blue bone appeared, a spirit bone. The 8th auction item was a spirit bone, an impressive offering by the Star Luo Empire. This spirit bone was taken from the Ice Jade Scorpion clan in the far north tundra. Their clan hosts the 8th of the 10 great savage beasts, the Ice Jade Empress Scorpion, Juju explained. I won't have to say more about its value. She went on, detailing the bone's problems to adhere to fair practice. At that moment, old Yao's voice slipped into Lin Xiao's mind. Xiaozi, the Ice Empress wants to speak with you. Lin Xiao replied, Master, tell the Ice Empress, I know the flaws of this spirit bone. It requires ultimate ice to absorb. Tell her not to worry. I'm waiting to see if those Shrek fellows will bid, old Yao answered. Put the Ice Empress at ease. This spirit bone will come back to us. Old Yao nodded and relayed the message to the Ice Empress in the ring. The Ice Empress blinked in surprise. Then Old Yao smiled in Lin Xiao's mind. This kid has his own plan. Shrek might be in trouble. The Ice Empress understood at once. Lin Xiao had a plan. If Shrek bid, he wouldn't fight them. If Shrek didn't, then he would intervene. He was willing to let the Shrek group take the bone. If it meant they might be harmed, so be it. As Lin Xiao expected, Ling Luoqin's eyes lit up when she saw the spirit bone. She looked to Wang Yan for approval. Wang Yan nodded and bid. The spirit bone finally sold to him. Only Lin Xiao and the Ice Empress knew the full truth about the bone's drawbacks. With it in Shrek's hands, somebody else was likely to be hurt. That was exactly what Lin Xiao wanted. The final auction item was now on stage, and the excitement reached a fever pitch. The Ice Jade Scorpion Spirit Bone had fetched 30 million gold coins. This next item would easily top 100 million. Yu Tao glanced at Lin Xiao. No wonder the Holy Sun had asked about 100 million. He'd had a reason. Princess Juju inhaled, visibly excited. A golden, shielded column of air coalesced on the big screen. I know you're all curious. I won't beat around the bush. This item is the sealed embryo of a 100,000-year spirit beast, contained within this 9th-class spirit tool, the God Sealing Platform. A great master sealed it while the beast was transforming into human form. It's essentially an embryo of a spirit beast caught at the bottleneck of its transformation. The crowd stirred. If the emperor was telling the truth, this embryo could yield 100,000-year spirit ring and 100,000-year spirit bone. The venue erupted into whispers and excited shouts. It had to be the Snow Empress embryo. It wouldn't be long before word reached the Ice Empress. Elder Yu Tao leaned over and said urgently, "Holy Sun, we have to get that embryo at all costs." Lin Xiao smiled and shook his head. "Don't worry, Elder Yu. I know what I'm doing with this item. It's not ours yet." He raised a hand to cut off Yu Tao before the elder could protest. Yu Tao hesitated, confused, but he trusted Lin Xiao. Vina wanted the embryo too, but knew they couldn't afford it. She was puzzled by Lin Xiao's composure. Xiao Linger looked at him with curiosity. "I can feel this is real. You don't want it?" Lin Xiao answered softly, "Shh, Linger. Guess who's inside?" Xiao Linger shrugged and popped a pill into her mouth. "I'm not a limit, Douluo. How would I know?" Lin Xiao smiled and kept his silence. Xiao Linger was sure he knew something. He was simply refusing to say. Vina listened to their conversation and allowed her curiosity to grow. Perhaps these two really did know something about the embryo. Chapter 76, The Exorbitantly Priced Embryo. The four of them watched in silence. With Lin Xiao present, he was in charge here. Since he had already said there was no need to bid, what was there to worry about? Yu Tao wanted to press the issue further, but seeing the expression on Lin Xiao's face, so calm and resolute, he fell silent. The appearance of the 100,000-year soul beast embryo sent a shock through the entire audience. Nearly everyone stared at the god-sealing platform with a mixture of awe and greed. At Shrek's table, Wang Yan leapt to his feet, eyes locked on the platform. He stared for a long time before plopping back down, unwilling. Whoever wanted that embryo would have to fight tooth and nail for it. Bei sighed. "Teacher, do we have any chance of getting that embryo?" Wang Yan nodded, then shook his head. "I don't know. It's not something I can decide." He wanted it badly, but would Elder Mu agree? He wasn't sure, so he wouldn't promise anything. "If it's possible, let's try. I'll go with you to speak to Elder Mu," Dai Yuheng urged. He truly hoped Shrek could get the embryo. If it entered Shrek, they might have some chance later. "Yes, teacher. If we can, let's take it," Bei echoed. One by one, the group voiced the same desire, eyes filled with greed for the 100,000-year embryo. Wang Yan looked at them and said, "Let's see. If we can, we'll take it. But if the price gets too high, forget it." He didn't make any promises. He didn't even know if they could win. Hearing that, faint smiles spread across the Shrek members' faces. That was as much as they wanted to hear. At the Sun Moon Empire table, Xiao Hongqin's eyes shone with fervor. He decided he had to have that embryo. If he got it, he might end up with twin spirits, or at least 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone. The temptation was enormous. He wondered if this mysterious Lin Xiao was even at the auction. He could find no information on him. Lin Xiao had helped him before, but this time the prize was too tempting. He wouldn't hesitate to compete. Several other powers also watched closely, but no one had made the first bid. Lin Xiao sat quietly for a moment, then asked casually, "Why is no one bidding?" He then put in a bid, 90 million gold coins. The opening bid shot to an enormous amount. Lin Xiao knew the embryo's starting price would be at least 100 million, and since no one else had moved, he took the initiative. Yu Tao and the others were stunned. Hadn't Lin Xiao said they shouldn't bid? Why was the opening bid so high? "Holy Sun, I'll have the sect master send more funds right away," Elder Yu Tao said immediately. Lin Xiao waved him off. "Elder, don't rush. I'm just shouting random numbers." Randomly shouting 90 million, Yu Tao thought. For a moment, he'd believed Lin Xiao truly wanted the embryo. It turned out the remark was just to stir things up. "Just watch," Lin Xiao said. Right after, Xiao Hongqin put in a bid. 100 million. Exactly 100 million. The Sun Moon Empire's table didn't lack funds. If need be, they could sell a few spirit tools. As a scion of the Jing family, Xiao Hongqin could afford it. This was worth the cost for the chance at a second spirit and a century-old spirit ring and bone. "Xiao Hongqin, isn't that too much?" Elder Ma whispered. Xiao Hongqin smiled and waved off the concern. "Too much. Elder Ma, we're talking about the chance of a second spirit, plus 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone. You don't think that's worth 100 million gold coins? If 100,000-year spirit rings and bones could be bought with money, The Sun Moon Empire would have had a monopoly on them long ago, another elder muttered. The problem isn't money. The problem is when something is priceless yet unobtainable. Xiao Hongchen saw the opportunity clearly. Many had 100,000-year spirit rings now, but none had gotten one at his age. This could be precedent-setting, and he didn't want to miss it. What he didn't know was that two prodigies younger than him had already obtained spirit rings far beyond 100,000 years. He was no longer unique. When the Shrek group heard 100 million, their faces went pale. They had thought 90 million was astronomical. 100 million was even more so. Teacher Wang, Dai Yuheng's mouth twitched. He wanted to suggest dropping out, but couldn't bring himself to say it. All eyes turned to Wang Yan. 100 million was simply too steep. Convincing Elder Mu to spend that much felt impossible. We can't compete. Let it go. Even gaining one spirit bone made the trip worthwhile, Wang Yan conceded. He had a sneaking feeling the price would climb even higher. Xiao Hongchen admired his own bid, waiting to see who would dare challenge him. The auctioneer announced another raise, 120 million gold coins. Xiao Hongchen's brow tightened. Someone else was bold enough to push the price up. He smiled and responded immediately, 150 million gold coins. Marulong and the others were stunned by Xiao Hongchen's extravagance. In his private room, Lin Xiao clicked his tongue. Tsk, the Sun Moon Empire really is rich. Holy Sun, do you think the bidder is from the Sun Moon Empire? Yu Tao asked, confused at how Lin Xiao knew. Yeah, who else could have this kind of capital? Lin Xiao shrugged. I bet Xu Jiawei is delighted. Once the Sun Moon Empire wins, he'll release the info and everyone will focus on them. He gets a huge windfall selling spirit tools to cover the debt, killing two birds with one stone. He took their money and painted a target on them. Of course he could seize the Dai family's territory. No wonder he's the emperor. The original text didn't specify who seized the Snow Empress, but it did note one thing. Opening the God-sealing platform is extremely difficult, and it takes at least 10 years to fuse. P.S. Mentioned by the Emperor of Star Luo in chapter 142 of the original work. In 10 years, who knew what would happen? The world could change overnight. Maybe the Sun Moon Empire would be robbed after leaving the auction. For now, 150 million seemed to cow the crowd. No one bid further. The price appeared to have settled. Chapter 77. Yao Lao, rob it. You have to rob it for me. Princess Juju waited a long time, hoping someone would bid again. When no one did, she announced the final price, 150 million. Lin Xiao's opening bid had been so high it had driven most people away. He watched quietly, fingers drumming on the ring. Yao Lao's voice sounded in his mind. Xiao Xiaozi, you want to seize it? But isn't that Xiao Hongchen's? Lin Xiao interrupted the thought with a soft cough. Tricking a good brother was one thing. Letting him suffer a little injustice was another. It wasn't that he wanted his brother to suffer. He just didn't want him driving a Land Rover, he told himself with a wry thought. Master, yes, I intend to take it. More importantly, the elder sister of Yor and Master Electrolux's precious granddaughter, the Ice Empress, is sealed inside. Hearing that, Yao Lao was stunned. He hadn't expected the item to be connected to the Ice Empress. Back in the Stardew Great Forest, he'd heard the Ice Empress mention a Snow Empress, but he'd never asked for details. Now it turned out the Snow Empress had been captured and was being sold. You're saying the spirit beast embryo inside that god-sealing platform is the Snow Empress, he asked. Yes, Master. Yao Lao didn't hesitate. Seize it. Go seize it now. Xiao Xiaozi, we can only wrong that brother of yours. How dare anyone bully his granddaughter's family? They'd been planning a surprise for the Ice Empress anyway. No one spoiled their granddaughter's happiness. Lin Xiao replied, Master, keep an eye on that elder ma who fought the woman in red last time. Don't let him slip away. He'll have the item when it's finished. Master, can you imitate the aura and appearance of a Shu Sanshi? Lin Xiao asked both Yao Lao and Electrolux. Electrolux answered at once. That's not difficult. Changing appearance and aura is easy. Xiao Xiaozi, what are you planning? Simple. Frame Shrek. Since we want to target Shrek's group, we'll take the image of Shrek. Lin Xiao explained. He had already leaked a lot of information about Shrek to Xiao Hongchen earlier. If the item was then snatched by Shrek, the consequences would be obvious. He didn't need to spell them out. Both masters understood. Yao Lao summarized, "You want me to possess you while Electrolux provides the disguise?" "Exactly. I'll need your help." "That's a small matter," Yao Lao said. "You are our disciple. This is not just helping you, it's helping our granddaughter, the Ice Empress." Yao Lao's soul force latched onto Elder Ma like a shackle, and the man felt nothing. Electrolux added, "The plan is good, but I don't know the exact aura or appearance of the Shrek powerhouses. Even if I can imitate them, it might not be precise." Lin Xiao had already thought of that. "It's enough to simulate their spirit roughly. Then Master Yao can interfere with the target's soul memories. I'll describe their spirit and appearance. It doesn't need to be perfect." After that, Lin Xiao continued, "Master, you use your soul force to tamper with their memories. That should make them identify it as Shrek's doing." Yao Lao and Electrolux exchanged a glance. "That won't be difficult," Yao Lao said. "Altering someone's memory of a Susanshi is manageable." "With your approval, I'm ready." Lin Xiao breathed a sigh of relief. If Electrolux had actually seen Susanshi before, it'd be easier, but this method would work. With both masters in place, the plan could be carried out. Down in the hall, Princess Juju announced again that the soul beast embryo had sold for 150 million. Xiao Hongqin laughed, triumphant. "As expected, it's already in my pocket." He looked certain of victory. "Elder Ma, once this is done, take it straight to Mingde Hall and give it to my great-grandfather. Once it's in Mingde Hall, no one can snatch it." "Don't worry," Elder Ma replied earnestly. "I'll use Star Luo's secret channels to return immediately and make sure nothing goes wrong." Xiao Hongqin was rightly worried about the Shrek group. If the two Limit Douluo on their side tried to seize it openly, they might not be able to hold the item. That was why the Star Luo Empire provided secret passages and escorts for distinguished guests. But this time the Emperor's plan was about to be foiled. An outsider had other plans. At Shrek's table, Wang Yan and the others stared at the announced price with envy. 150 million, unthinkable. "Can we just snatch it?" Shu Sanshi blurted, as if he'd lost his judgment. Wang Yan clapped a hand over his mouth. "Shut up, don't be foolish." The others glared. They wanted to take it, but they couldn't afford the consequences of making a move. Wang Yan, terrified at the thought of more trouble falling on him, warned them seriously, "Watch what you say and do when we're out in public. Don't cause me trouble." He felt like crying. Nothing in this competition had gone smoothly from the start, and he was done with it. "Once the auction ends, we leave. Not a moment longer." He wanted to get away from this place before something dangerous happened. Chapter 78, Disguising as Xuanzi, Seizing the Sun and Moon. The Soul Beast embryo finally sold for 150 million, bought by Xiao Hongqin of the Sun Moon Empire. Princess Juju's eyes brightened with mischief. Her imperial brother's plan had worked. She announced cheerfully, 150 million, sold. At once, the auction hall erupted in speculation. Who in the world could have paid such a price? Lin Xiao watched the commotion calmly, then turned to Xiao Linger beside him. "Linger, wait here with Elder Yu Tao for a while. I have some business to attend to." "I'm out of pills," Xiao Linger murmured, stretching a hand out. Lin Xiao smiled and flicked a small gourd of pills to her. Elder Yu Tao perked up with interest. "Holy Sun, do you have these kinds of pills in the sect?" Vina leaned over to look as well. Lin Xiao shook his head. "Not yet, but when my alchemy improves, I'll be able to refine medicines for the sect." The two nodded. Apparently the pills weren't anything extraordinary. Yu Tao thought of Lin Xiao's two masters and assumed the Holy Sun had received instruction from them, so he didn't press further. "Holy Sun, rest assured, leave Miss Linger and Vina to me. I will protect them." Yu Tao slapped his chest and grinned, and Lin Xiao nodded in thanks. No sooner had Yu Tao spoken than Yao Lao's voice slipped into Lin Xiao's mind. "Xiao Xiaozi, the target has moved. The item is indeed in his hands. That place is well hidden." Yao Lao sounded relieved. If Lin Xiao hadn't ordered him to keep watch, Elder Ma might have slipped away. "Master, I'm leaving now," Lin Xiao replied. He looked back at the three. "I'll go. See you later." They didn't try to stop him. Lin Xiao left through the auction house's security passage. Once inside the corridor, he described Xuanzi's spirit and bearing to Electrolux. Electrolux began to chant, and spells unfurled over Lin Xiao's body. Xiao Xiaozi, my magic will hold for 2 hours, Electrolux said. With Brother Chen's concealment, it should be enough. I've forged a spirit image for you. Only the form, not the substance. You must act fast. Electrolux hadn't fully recovered and had never actually seen Xuanzi's spirit in person, so this was all he could manage. Yao Lao's voice urged, hurry and give chase. My possession time is limited. Lin Xiao dashed in the direction Yao Lao indicated. Once out of Star Luo City, he donned a set of black clothes and a dark robe, the wings on his back unfurled, pushing his speed up dramatically. Yao Lao kept his focus on Elder Ma. Escape wasn't an option. The Sun Moon Empire's secret channels were impressive. Elder Ma vanished without a trace. Xiao Xiaozi, Yao Lao said. The embryo has been moved. Head left. Lin Xiao followed, then circled, then veered. The embryo changed hands several times, each exchange more cautious than the last. They were being extremely careful, but with Yao Lao tracking them, none of the transfers lasted. At last, with the party well away from Star Luo City, the embryo found its way back into Elder Ma's hands. This is the place. Use spirit possession. Let me take over, Yao Lao ordered coldly. Lin Xiao released his spirit. His body tightened with power. His gaze sharpened and turned colder. The aura around him hardened. His eyes seemed to hold aeons, dark pupils like pinpoints of starry light. Electrolux, your magic is impressive, Yao Lao murmured. Behind him a spirit manifested, something like the Tao Ti divine bull, though at first glance it was simply a great ox. It was convincing enough. Yao Lao slammed his palm down and roared, Sun Moon Empire, is my Shrek so easy to mock? To sell the impersonation, he even produced a wine gourd and took a swig. A chicken leg completed the caricature. Below, Elder Ma stared up in horror. Chicken leg, wine, that beast, you're Xuanzi! The rage inside Elder Ma exploded. They had thought they'd lost their trail. How had this Shrek found them after they used the secret channels? Fury boiled through Elder Ma's heart. But before he could act, the ox spirit slammed down with crushing force. Spiritual pressure pinned Elder Ma and his companions. They tried to release their spirits and flee, but something held them fast. One by one, the men coughed blood and fell dead, eyes wide in shock. Yao Lao's power suppressed them to death. He reached out, snatched the soul beast embryo from Elder Ma's hand, lifted his wine gourd and muttered, my Shrek cannot be insulted. Consider this an apology from your Sun Moon. Then he vanished. Elder Ma's legs trembled. Xuanzi, a rank 98 titled Douluo. What a Xuanzi! What a hypocritical Shrek! Standing among the corpses, consumed by hatred, Elder Ma swore vengeance. Under Yao Lao's illusion and the way the attack had unfolded, there was no doubt in his mind who had struck them. It had to be that fellow from Shrek. Not long after the group left Star Luo City, they ran into Xuanzi himself, this time the real person, come to fetch them. Wang Yan and the others were shocked and uneasy at the sight. Elder Xuan, why are you here? Wang Yan stammered. Xuanzi took a slow swallow of wine. Humph, why am I here? Don't you already know? Elder Mu asked me to come and pick you up. If he hadn't, Xuanzi snapped. He looked displeased. Muan had warned him not to be too rough with them. They had already suffered enough. Disgrace, disgrace, someone burst out. If it weren't for you, Senior Sister Ma and the others wouldn't have been hurt. If it weren't for your inaction, we wouldn't have lost. What else can you do besides shirk responsibility? Xuanzi cut in. At that, Wang Dong lost control. He erupted, tears on his face, roaring accusations. They had all taken too much blame lately, without their first and second fathers showing up, who knew what they would have endured. His words registered the grievances they had tried to swallow for too long, and now they spilled out in a bitter torrent. Chapter 79. Titles gather at Shrek Academy. Slap. With Wang Dong's roar still hanging in the air, Xuanzi's hand landed cleanly across her cheek. The slap rang through the courtyard, leaving a vivid red handprint on her fair face. Tears rolled slowly down Wang Dong's cheeks. Elder Xuan, what are you doing? Wang Yan stood there, stunned. Xuanzi had really outdone himself this time. Every instinct in him wanted to respond in kind, to curse and fight back, but he couldn't. How could he bring himself to provoke Wang Dong? And how had a fool like Xuanzi ever become an elder of the Sea God Pavilion? Wang Yan felt his spirit sag. He didn't think Wang Dong had been wrong to shout. If anything, she had been right, and he almost wanted to join in the cursing. Zhang Nanan and Xiao Xiao hurried over to comfort Wang Dong. Shu Sanxi and the others looked at Xuanzi with nothing but pity. The old man had ruined himself. Beibei's face showed regret as well. Elder Xuan, oh Elder Xuan, let this teach you a lesson. Dai Yuheng opened his mouth, then thought of Wang Dong's two powerful fathers and suppressed it. Ma Xiaotao, still being supported by He Kaito, had not yet regained consciousness. Humph. Xuanzi, owe no one an explanation. Xuanzi took a cold swallow of wine. His voice was cutting and frigid, full of haughty confidence. In that moment, the old swagger returned. This slap is for your disrespect toward a powerhouse. He turned away abruptly. Enough. Come with me back to Shrek. Then, as if nothing had happened, Xuanzi produced a chicken leg and began gnawing at it, indifferent to the hurt he'd caused. Wang Dong glared at him, lips trembling. Just wait, she vowed to herself, seething. My eldest father will make you pay for this. Wang Yan could only sigh inwardly. Forget it. Once I get back to Shrek, I'll resign. With such an irresponsible powerhouse as Xuanzi, what else could he do? He had done all he could. The thought of leaving exhausted him. This single Soul Master competition had nearly broken him. But leaving didn't mean he didn't care about Shrek. He wanted the academy to prosper. He just had nothing left to give. Wang Dong, I'm sorry, Wang Yan said helplessly. Wiping her tears away, Wang Dong managed, Teacher Wang, I don't blame you. I know what needs to be done. Hearing that, Wang Yan silently hoped that those two terrifying fathers would go easy on Xuanzi. If the man were killed, it would be Shrek's loss. Meanwhile, Lin Xiao, who had been masquerading as Xuanzi while Elder Yao possessed him, moved with astonishing speed. After distancing himself from the scene, the possession ended. Lin Xiao kept flying toward Star Luo City. Only when he was almost there did he retract his wings and finish the approach on foot, then tapped his ring. Elder Yao's voice came through. What's wrong, Xiao Xiaozi? Master, are you all right? And Elder Yi, how is he? Lin Xiao's body felt drained to the bone, but he could still speak. Elder Yao's reply was steady. I'm fine. Just need some rest. That fellow Elder Yi is studying the Soul Beast embryo, trying to open it. It had only been a brief possession, so there were no lasting problems, though being possessed at all had taken a toll on Lin Xiao. He would recover with rest. Relieved, Lin Xiao hurried into the city and immediately collapsed into Xiao Linger's arms. Sister Linger, junior brother, Vina was stunned to see him fall into Xiao Linger's embrace, and her worry spiked. Xiao Linger checked him over and reassured Vina, he's fine, just exhausted. He'll be okay after he sleeps. Quick, take the Holy Sun back to rest, Yu Tao urged anxiously. Anything happening to the Holy Sun would bring terrible blame down on them all. They carried Lin Xiao back to the hotel. After the others had been sent away, Xiao Linger called softly, Ice Empress, come out. The Ice Empress drifted out from Lin Xiao's ring. What is it, Linger? What on earth did Xiao Xiaozi do? Why is he so weak? Xiao Linger asked, worried. The Ice Empress shook her head. I don't know. I was put into a deep sleep before, so I don't know the details. Elder Yao and Elder Yi had put the Ice Empress to sleep before taking action, so she'd missed everything that happened afterward. She didn't even know that Lin Xiao had recovered the Snow Empress's embryo. Xiao Linger frowned. He's so grown up, and yet he still makes everyone worry. Next time, she'd follow him. Xiao Xiaozi will be fine. He's just overdone himself, the Ice Empress said after receiving a mental transmission from Elder Yao. Xiao Linger nodded. You stay and watch over him while I go inform the others. Lin Xiao slept for a full week. In that span, events unfolded elsewhere that he slept through. At Mingde Hall in the Sun Moon Empire, Elder Ma returned bloodied and exhausted. He immediately reported everything to Jing Hongchen. Are you certain it was Shrek's Xuanzi? Jing Hongchen's face darkened. He'd already disliked Shrek because of prior reports, and the news that someone had dared snatch his great-grandson's property set his fury alight. It's absolutely certain, Elder Ma said. The chicken leg, the wine, the Tao-Ti divine bull spirit, and the strength of a titled Douluo, only Xuanzi could have done it. That cursed Xuanzi, that damned Shrek, vermin, Elder Ma spat with hatred. Notify Elder Kong. We're going to Shrek, Jing Hongchen ordered, enraged. After Elder Ma left, Jing Hongchen prepared several rank 8 stationary soul tools. From the details Elder Ma had given, it really could have been no one else. At the Clear Sky sect, the recently returned Da Ming and Ming received a letter from Wang Dong. She had written everything down, how Xuanzi had struck her, and recounted the whole incident. Da Ming's face went cold as he finished reading. He handed the letter to Ming. Ming, this time you have my permission to go all out, he said without hiding the murderous intent in his tone. Ming roared, the sound vibrating through the sect and making the very air tremble. Xuanzi, good, oh Xuanzi, thinking our Clear Sky sect is powerless? Da Ming, let's go. Together they surged forward, racing toward Shrek at full speed. Back at Shrek, Wang Yan's group finally returned from their hurried journey. Xuanzi regarded them coolly. Go explain this to Elder Mu, he said. Wang Yan forced a bitter smile, but this time the Shrek students rose to back him. Xuanzi, get out here, shouted one after another, their voices full of righteous anger. Then two distant voices rolled across Shrek's territory, voices like thunder, boiling with fury and killing intent. Muen, Xuanzi, does your Shrek want to start a war with my Sun Moon Empire? The words crashed down, shaking the students to their cores. Those two voices reverberated through the academy, filled with such menace it felt as if the very skies had grown darker in answer. Chapter 80. The Supreme Elder loses an arm and a leg. Xuanzi had barely finished speaking when two terrifying voices cut him off. From within Shrek's borders, two ominous figures stepped out through the lightning. Thunder rolled across the sky as if vowing to annihilate Shrek, and ape-like roars echoed through the clouds. On the other side, atop a luxurious spirit tool airship bristling with killing intent, two more figures appeared at the bow. Stationary spirit tools lined both sides of the airship, each aimed at Shrek Academy. The two forces had Shrek completely surrounded, displaying their power without shame. 4 titled Douluo had come, 2 of them limit Douluo, and the other 2 wielded powerful spirit tools. Beibei and the others looked at Xuanzi with sympathetic, reproachful eyes. Elder Xuan, they thought, you've really hit a steel plate this time. Wang Yan felt his scalp go numb. How had Xuanzi managed to provoke the Sun Moon Empire again? Had he robbed something from them while picking them up? The timing made it seem highly likely. Elder Xuan, you'd better pray for yourself, Wang Yan muttered. One could not escape the consequences of one's actions. Xuanzi stared back, confused. What are you all talking about? The group from Shrek seemed to know something he didn't, and he felt more bewildered than ever. Swish! Several people from Shrek's Sea God Pavilion appeared almost at once. Their leader, Mu En, hunched and aged, stepped forward. Jing Hongchen, Kong Deming, what is the meaning of this? He demanded. You two, did my Shrek insult you somehow? Mu En's voice was not fearsome, but the limit Douluo pressure emanating from the strangers worried him. They were openly hostile and seemed to be looking for Xuanzi. Mu En regretted allowing Xuanzi to go fetch Wang Yan and the others. If not for Yan Xiaozhe's persuasion, he never would have agreed. Yan Xiaozhe had wanted Xuanzi to atone for past mistakes after Shrek took first place. Mu En had hesitated, Xuanzi was too unreliable, but in the end he had consented. Now it all seemed like a mistake. Wherever Xuanzi went, trouble followed, and now they'd attracted 4 titled Douluo, 2 of them limit Douluo. Kong Deming held Jing Hongchen back and signaled with his eyes. Jing Hongchen nodded slightly and looked to Elder Ma. Is it him? He asked. Elder Ma nodded immediately. It is. He's the one who snatched that soul beast embryo. With that confirmation, Jing Hongchen and Kong Deming relaxed. No need to rush. The 2 on the other side seem more anxious than we are, Kong Deming said calmly. Since the item was already in the other party's hands, there was no hurry. Opposite them, Deming and Ming burned with fury, their murderous intent openly displayed. You old man over there, hand over Xuanzi, Ming demanded. For Xiaoling's sake, I won't make you suffer too much. Just give him to me, Ming added, his voice booming. He left Mu En no face at all. Ming's limit Douluo pressure rolled into Shrek's territory like a tide. Mu En's expression tightened. Not long ago, Dubuzi had attacked Shrek in a similar fashion. This was even more aggressive. When someone threatened another's child by name for the sake of Xiaoling, there was only one sect brazen enough to speak this way, the Clear Sky sect. Are you from the Clear Sky sect? Mu En asked. Heh, since you know, hand him over, came Ming's reply. Without waiting for Mu En, Ming surged forward. With the Titan giant ape spirit supporting him, he seized Xuanzi by the throat. Xuanzi had no time to react. Ming showed no respect for martial honor. Anyone who touched his precious daughter was courting death. "Your Excellency, wait!" Mu'en blurted out, alarmed. Yan Xiaojie and the other Sea God Pavilion elders watched helplessly. They had no way to stop this. The current Shrek was not the fearless institution they pretended to be. They were a frightened, hypocritical lot. Ming didn't listen. He slapped Xuanzi hard. Limit Douluo's strength applied without restraint. "Does it feel good to be slapped? You dog, didn't you enjoy slapping people?" he sneered. "Huh? Didn't you like it so much? You liked it, didn't you?" Each taunt came with another brutal slap. Ming poured his full strength into it, remembering Da Ming's words, "Don't hold back. If he dies, he dies." Mu'en's heart trembled. He forced himself to speak through clenched teeth. "Sir, what crime has Xuanzi committed? Speak plainly. If there is any compensation needed, Shrek will provide it. Please spare Xuanzi." The other elders pleaded. Mu'en's real hope was that Xuanzi would survive long enough for them to find out what he had done. For now, they would endure. Da Ming remained cold and silent, watching. Wang Dong, however, whose long-suppressed resentment had been building for a long time, found herself oddly relieved as Xuanzi was punished. Seeing him beaten erased much of the anger she had carried. She wished she had exposed him sooner. No one from Shrek dared to intervene. Xuanzi's face swelled under the blows. Then, with a sickening rip and a spray of blood, one of Xuanzi's arms was torn off by Ming's brutal grip. Before anyone could react, Ming planted his foot on Xuanzi's leg and slammed down. Crack, bones shattered. Pain fogged Xuanzi's mind. Second father! Second father!" Wang Dong cried out in alarm and, for a moment, genuine fear. Ming sneered as if answering Wang Dong's shout. "Don't be afraid, Donger. If anyone dares to bully you, I'll twist his head off and give it to you to kick like a ball." With that, he drove his foot down harder and crushed Xuanzi's leg into a pulp.